Hi there. Welcome to the world of November 7th, 2024. This has been an interesting couple of days. I like searching for truth, and I like fairness, and I like justice. And I've been sitting on this for like a couple of weeks because of like election stuff in the US just kind of taking up all the bandwidth. But it's time to start talking about other things, in my opinion. And I wanted to make a video talking about like white privilege and discrimination that I see exhibited by and felt by content creators in the space that I'm in. I believe, especially in a world where things like human rights and personal freedoms cannot be taken for granted, that defending the fairness and inclusivity of our shared spaces is very, very, very important. So this is a thing that's been sitting with me and something that I wanted to talk about. And for this video, what I wanted to do to kind of highlight white privilege and discrimination against people who are not white is compare and contrast two pieces of content. One is How Arab Are These Content Creators, which was a live panelist show done at TwitchCon, which was a little over a month ago now. And another is The Black Challenge, a YouTube video made by Ethan and Gila, some like very popular, primarily YouTube-based content creators. Context here, the reason that I'm talking about Ethan in particular with regards to this panel is Ethan took issue with comments at this panel. He perceived comments in the panel and like the premise of the panel itself to be anti-Semitic. And I don't know if the people participating in the panel were banned because the ADL reached out to Twitch. The ATL is a fairly highly bankrolled anti-discrimination organization, which has had some iffy past stuff where it is very, very, very sensitive to anti-Semitism, and that has played out so heavily that it's been discriminatory toward people who are not Jewish. Sometimes, like the ADL famously voiced their opinion that a mosque should not be opened near Ground Zero. Like basically Islamic people being near Ground Zero in New York where the Twin Towers fell was offensive, which is itself discrimination. So the ADL is like a bit of a weird org. This isn't going to be a video about the ADL, but it was just kind of shocking to me seeing that like 5 relatively small to moderate sized content creators had been banned from Twitch for 30 days for running a panel at TwitchCon. After the ADL said that they had reached out to Twitch and said they were glad that Twitch had made the right decision. It's even possible that advertisers have pulled out of Twitch now because like there are articles hitting mainstream news about Twitch having an anti-Semitism problem and stuff like this. Yeah, which is like very, very, very wild. And when I saw that this had happened, I thought I'd like to check out that panel and see what was said, because that sounds pretty serious. And I thought it would be interesting, having watched that panel a couple of times now, thought it would be interesting to compare the panel with one of Ethan's own videos, since Ethan was the person who initially like made the viral video being critical of the panel. This is like a podcast that gets like 4,000 views or something, like on their not like live viewership, like total viewership on their VOD. Maybe they have views elsewhere, actually. That's like what they get on their YouTube VODs. Maybe they have more on like some podcasting app or something, I don't know. But anyway, Ethan's channel in comparison is very large. And so he kind of drew attention to the fact that this panel had happened and a bunch of people got up in arms about it. Ultimately culminating in these creators being banned from the platform for 30 days. And I thought it would be interesting to kind of like compare what I saw happen at the panel with something that I've seen Ethan do in one of his own videos, and then we can talk about like whether this seems fair. I think I talked about this a little bit already, but during rises in fascism and hate around the world, whenever they may happen, and perhaps there's one happening now, I think it's extremely important to defend the spaces where we socialize with and humanize each other. And for me, Twitch is one of those spaces. And I also think it's important to present information fully and seek the truth. Authoritarian government and might is right based mindsets are pretty allergic to the truth because they believe that like one person is more worthy than other people, which just isn't true. It's a perspective. It's an incorrect perspective. But yeah, I happen to find seeking truth and trying to interpret it and communicate it to be really calming and interesting. So if I'm going to have a job in this world, I'm pretty happy for that to be a thing that I spend energy doing. I think we always hear about white privilege, but I have had few opportunities in my life to show you so clearly in such an enunciated fashion what white privilege looks like. So that's what we're going to do now. Before I get into the panel, I want to speak briefly about the Arabs cast. This is the podcast that we're going to be watching the live panel from. One of them is Frogan. She has been named a rising star of Twitch. She is an Arab content creator. She has beef with Ethan from a tweet in the past where she tweeted some stuff that she would just call pro-Palestinian, but he thought was more than that. She tweeted, leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. And then noticed that Ethan unfollowed her after she tweeted that, and then like they had a little fallout kind of thing. Sure. So there's existing drama between the two of them, is what I'm saying. Maybe you find those tweets offensive. You might find other things that she said offensive. She has said some stuff that crosses the line in terms of Twitch rules, certainly. She's gotten a lot of flack for saying she hopes unrepentant U.S. soldiers suffer PTSD after serving in the Middle East, for example. I don't think it is a difficult exercise in empathy to understand why someone would wish harm on soldiers who had operated in like a country that they and or their family and or their culture exists in. Like as an American, I don't think any of us have trouble understanding people who want members of Al-Qaeda to suffer harm. So, like, her saying this is absolutely crossing the line in terms of Twitch rules and in terms of like fair and honest application of Twitch rules. You're not meant to wish harm upon other people. And like, I could see her getting a warning or even a timeout on her account for doing something like that. But in terms of like making her a terrible person, a lot of people have said much worse things than saying that soldiers who have operated in the country that like they are from, they hope those soldiers come to harm. So yeah, I'm not here to tell you that Frogan's like who's the name of the saint? Mother Teresa or something? Was Mother Teresa even a good person? I don't even know. I'm not here to tell you that Frogan's like a perfect individual. We're just going to like kind of examine a lot of stuff about how she's being treated. But I do think that like identifying her as solely a person who you've seen clips of her saying incendiary things and not listening to other things she says and like learning more about her is a little rough. I don't think it's something that many people would do to me. Yeah, because one thing that I've seen and kind of like seeing people's reaction to this stuff is a lot of people examine Frogan as a collection of her worst moments or even her worst moments negatively interpreted. Like a lot of people have said that she wants all US soldiers to suffer from PTSD, which is nothing that she wants. She's been pretty clear that like soldiers who feel bad about what they did, like she happily forgives. But if you went to the Middle East and participated in decades of war, which resulted in countless civilian deaths and destruction of infrastructure and stuff, she doesn't like that. And if you don't see anything wrong with it, she doesn't like you. And that's what she has said. And for some reason, some people have a massive problem with that when, to me, that just seems normal. um, like, would you expect her to like them? I don't know. Okay, another member of the Arabs cast is Capri Sun Papi, who's just called Capri. He's a Christian Palestinian Lebanese Arab. He publicly dislikes Ethan. He's pretty open about this. He also is like not shy about saying things which, especially here in America, we might consider quite politically charged. Like he has equated Israel's flag to the Nazi flag, and he has said Israel has no right to exist, which are both statements which I think a lot of Americans would take a lot of umbrage with. However, in international law, states do not have a right to exist. So this is like true. This is just a true statement. This is a position that has also been said by government officials of Western countries. So I don't think you can call him a terrible person for saying that. And when he equates Israel's flag to the Nazi flag, he isn't saying that it's literally the Nazi flag. He is saying that it's like the Nazi flag to him. And in the video that I've linked down here, which you can... I don't like hyperlinking stuff because I don't want to make it really easy for people who are hateful to go be hateful in other places too, but I do like having link available, so if you are thoughtful and willing to do a bit of work, you can go see videos I'm talking about, which is, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but it's the way I'm currently doing it. Anyway, if you go check out that video, he, while saying that, shows you his grandmother's curfew card and tells you about how his family still has property in Palestine that they can't return to, and tells you about hearing Israel's bombs while he lived in Lebanon. And it's kind of hard not to think that that's like a pretty normal thing for a person to feel after experiencing that. Again, exercise an empathy, right? But all like logical. Like, this thing happened causing this opinion, and we can see the connection, and the person doesn't have to be a terrible human being for that connection to have happened. Would that it were that we lived in a world where such a connection had not connected, but that is the world that we live in, and we can't really blame people for living in the world that exists. But Capri's also very explicitly said that this panel wasn't anti-Semitic and that his beef with Ethan is not about Ethan being Jewish. And there's been nothing that he's said that makes it sense that anything would have, like... There are three really sensible reasons to not like Israel in this slide, right? The curfew card from his grandmother, hearing Israel's bombs while he lived in Lebanon, and I guess it's not written in the slide, but also having land in Palestine, which he can't return to. Like, those are three really sensible reasons for someone to dislike a country. It isn't really sensible to dislike a country because of the ethnicity of the people who live there. So, like, as a person attempting to be reasonable, looking at this, I don't think like anti-Semite. I think like really unfortunate circumstances, lots of pain. Wish this could end. Wish this could go away. No more pain in the world, please. That would be so nice. But like, I again don't think this is a difficult exercise in empathy to understand how a person who is a completely reasonable human being ends up with opinions like this. Cool, whatever. A third member of the cast is Raf, who is a Jewish Arab. And to introduce Raf, I wanted to just like link his tweet responding to what happened at the panel where he was banned for being anti-Semitic. Again, he's a Jew. He tweeted, "These fucks are so anti-Semitic. I'm the one who made the list on who can say Habibi. And they try and spin this as Frogan ranking people from Arab to Jew. Keep Jews out your fucking mouth. They're so fucking racist, they don't realize I'm Jewish. Weaponizing anti-Semitism like this is anti-Semitic." Which... Anyway, we'll watch more of the panel and you can decide how true that rings to you, I suppose, but that's what he had to say. There are also a couple of guests on this panel. There's Denims, who is an Arab-American Twitch streamer / OnlyFans creator, and there's Vayo, who is a Persian Twitch streamer. They are guests on the panel. They are not regular members of the podcast. And so, like, if, for example, Vayo were going to get banned for a month for being on this panel, I would hope that we saw her say something incendiary on the panel that deserved her to be banned, because she's at TwitchCon. This is a panel that has been approved by Twitch to run at TwitchCon, and she is a guest of, like, people who run a podcast. So, like, she isn't the person who came up with the idea of the panel. The panel was approved by Twitch, and like, she is appearing on the panel, sure, but for her to get banned for a month, which is a substantial ban, like, I would hope you would see her say something deserving of a ban during the video. Like, the other people on the panel can say awful shit, but, like, me being on the same panel as a person who says awful shit doesn't mean I should get banned. It isn't how it works for white people. If I'm on a panel with Ben Shapiro and he's saying a bunch of really incendiary racist stuff, but I'm not saying incendiary racist stuff, it would be weird for Twitch to ban me. In my opinion, especially if I'm a guest and not actually affiliated with the group that is making that show, and the show already got approved by Twitch to run at TwitchCon. Anyway, let's begin with the panel. So this is a 45-minute panel, and the Ethan video that I'm going to be showing is about 12 minutes long. So I'll be showing like 3 to 4 times as much of the panel as I will of the Ethan video. I'm going to watch it at 1.5 times speed. I'm not going to skip through any of it. We are going to watch the entirety of it. We are not going to look at clips out of context. We are not going to boil it down to the 2 minutes, which are the most central or anything. We're actually just going to watch the panel and judge the panel in full. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to add context as we watch it. So we're going to watch some of it, and then we're going to jump and watch some of Ethan's video. And we're going to go back and forth. So actually, instead of watching, like, clips of this thing, we're going to watch it and surrounding content. Instead of giving you a small snippet to make a judgment from, I'm going to give you the entire thing and also more to make a judgment from. Because I think that that's more revealing of, like, how the world is working. So, introduction, the Arabs panel.
Clap so that you can make sure that there's actually humans in the room.
Good job, Girafster. Yeah. Good job on that edited clapping noise, Girafster. Appreciate that. That's so good. Thank you so much.
It's like iCarly, you know how they have that like remote and they just press like the
This is Frogan and Raf and Capri.
applause button, but in real life.
Thank you, Frogan, for that. Thanks so much.
Frogan. Thank you so much.
I'm nervous.
Thank you.
I know.
Thanks everyone for coming out. This is the first episode of the live podcast or live episode.
Dude, it's so crazy that Capri's already messing this up. It's insane the way he's messing this up already. Isn't that crazy?
I think the worst thing is we can't cut anything. So if we say something bad, we're screwed.
cut that. Cut that all out. Let's start it from right here. Let's start from right. Yeah, Wallahi, everybody.
Hold
yeah, thank you.
That's not what we said.
That's where we do it.
No, I had to start.
I'm you now.
No, that's not how you do that, dude. All right, Wallahi.
Wallahi.
Welcome in, baby.
A live episode of the Arabs podcast.
They're a little welcome there. The premise of their podcast is Frogan is Muslim, right? Yes, I think yes. Capri is Christian and Raf is Jewish, and they are all Arab. And the premise of the podcast is like peace. Like we can be different and still see eye to eye on lots of things and still share our life experiences with each other and stuff like that.
So I appreciate it. Joining us today, we have
all of us.
We're going to be doing a live recording, and we're at TwitchCon, which is awesome in San Diego. And we have, if you don't know who we are, obviously, I don't know why you're here, but it's Caprice and Bobby, Raffle Ticket, and Frogan. And we have our guests today. We're going to bring up our guests in just a second, which is Vio and Denims, both fantastic streamers.
Yay! Dude, we're killing this live thing.
Dude, we're really killing it.
We're killing. Leave us all in.
I've never seen Frogan more nervous. She was like, "Are you nervous, buddy?"
I'm nervous.
You
She's like
smacked
gyrating.
Austin's butt yesterday, and you were less nervous than this.
Huh?
The abuse of gay men for you is so much easier than just sitting in a room full of
It's
people.
crazy how I was.
All right, before we get into like abusing gay men, these people are great. No, trust me. I'm immediately talking about abusing gay men. So far, like it's just like them being nervous, introducing each other. They don't usually do live shows, and they made a couple of like small jokes about that, etc., etc.
So comfortable with drag queens, but I'm not comfortable with you guys on stage. So
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, dude. I feel comfortable with drag queens too.
Either, dude.
No,
To be honest.
let's. I'm never going to an airport with her.
Can I be honest though?
I don't know if I'm never going to an airport with her is a joke about TSA lines or not. I don't know. It's an interesting podcast for me to watch as somebody who is not an Arab and is not always in on all the jokes.
I'm fresh out of bed.
I know.
I'm fresh out of bed.
You texted us 10 minutes before this. You're like, "I'm not ready," or you just said, "Can I be honest?" And then you put ... I was like, "You don't want to do this?"
No, I wasn't ready. I mean, I was up at like 8 o'clock, but I didn't get out of bed until like 10 to shower. And I was like, I'm gonna be late. But
All right, so they're here. For what it's worth, I'm not friends with these people. I'm not a fan of any of these people. I don't know these people. I am not going to tell you that they are the best people in the world or that their podcast is the best podcast in the world. But like, it's fine so far. We talked a little bit about drag queens, but not in a way that like really was insulting or homophobic. It was Rogan talking about how she felt comfortable with drag queens. I don't know, you could take offense to like any part of this panel if you really tried very hard, but so far it's like a live comedy panel. It's going to have some hits, some misses, some awkward parts. We'll talk more about live comedy as the panel goes on, because I think there are some really interesting and instructive moments throughout it, but that's kind of the introduction. All right. Let's introduce Ethan's video, The Black Project, which I'm going to be contrasting this with. This is Ethan and Hila.
Welcome back to another very special episode of Ethan and Hila. Hila's been scheming on a new project, this time called The Black Project. Anyway, just thirsty, so I'm gonna have a little sip here.
Oh.
Of my fucking dirt water. It does not taste, it still doesn't taste good. In the words of Rain Florence, looks just like my enema water.
So
Should probably have premised the video with some content warnings. Ethan and his wife Ela, who makes content with them, they make content together. This is a video from 8 years ago. So not like super current, but it's a video that they have on their channel still, and it's still up. Introduce the Black Project. They introduce it. They are dressed all in black, and they take some sips of some black-colored water, which Ethan calls dirt water and compares to enema water. I want to draw attention straight away, right out of the gate, to concepts of dirtiness versus cleanliness, because these are often a part of like racist, eugenic-minded thought, and well, Ethan brought them up straight away, so I just wanted to say, like, throughout the video, I'm going to be noting when we talk about dirtiness and cleanliness, because I think that's a really important thing to cue into when we're talking about whether something is racist or racially insensitive, so on and so forth. Let's go back to the podcast now.
Hour, and I was like, this, I'm gonna be late. But
Dude, you know what's crazy is I was the first. No, you guys beat me here.
yeah,
You guys
we
were
beat
closer.
here. And the thing is, what made me feel
Bleep
better-
that.
Oh,
Drafter, bleep that.
Leave that.
are we
bleep
allowed
that.
to say bad words?
I don't know.
Oh,
Try them
I'm
all
very
and see if we get
sorry.
banned.
Try that. Say more slurs.
I'm gonna say
Let's
a
go through.
slur.
Let's go
No,
through the
what-
ABCs of slurs right
what made me
now.
feel better
Let's see
is
which one's gonna
I
banned.
texted our group chat and Scooter just got in the shower. I was like, okay, I'm good. I was great.
Thank you so much. Let's welcome.
Stop doing that.
I'm doing it
You're
live.
making me feel even more awkward.
I know. Let's welcome our first guest, Vio. It's illegal to watch Vio. No, everyone knows that.
Yeah. Welcome on stage,
Welcome
Vio.
on
Thank
stage,
you. Welcome,
Vio.
welcome. Oh my God! Welcome to the stage. Wow, hugs. Oh my God, welcome. Here, take that. All right.
Have a seat. Egg.
I get moved
Hi.
because I'm the least famous on this couch, so
Man, shut
I get
up.
moved all the way over to the side.
Thank God. Thank God.
Vio, dressed up as an egg. Welcome in the gremlin herself.
chat.
Welcome.
Oh my God,
Welcome.
this to me. It's fine. Don't worry about
You
it.
know what?
Why'd you do this? Why'd you do this to us?
Because they paid me a lot of money to do
Oh,
it.
did they really?
Yeah. So they're fucked. I mean,
How many days did you not stream for them to pay you this much money?
not enough. Honestly, could be more.
The crazy thing is, you and I both have like egg-related things, but I feel like you're.
What's your egg-related thing to to
Yeah, say
Vio?
it live.
What's the
Say
relation?
it live on the actual Twitch page. Say it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
Say it.
Well, you might as well.
Well, there's a point in my life where I said I wish somebody would suck the eggs out of my ovaries like boba, but it's definitely
Keep it.
about boba.
Keep it in.
It's not a bad word, so I think I could say it.
No, ovaries is a bad word.
This is a bad
Wait,
We don't like
I don't
ovaries.
understand the line of sponsored content. Maybe this is why we don't have ad reads. I don't know.
Maybe. Vio, how's your TwitchCon going so far?
Oh, it's been good. You know, I'm just drinking a little too much, I think, but it's fine. It's been a great TwitchCon so far. It's one of my favorites, honestly, from like all the ones I've been to. So
What's standing out at this TwitchCon from like other ones that you've been to?
it's more of a vibe.
Yeah.
It's more of a vibe. Words that will live in infamy. We have welcomed Vio. Frogan is joking about her eggs being sucked out of her ovaries. For what it's worth, I'm really glad that we get to live in a world where women can joke about their ovaries, and where men can sit on a couch with women and joke about their ovaries with them. And I think the freedom of speech is really nice, and I think that being able to talk about like reproductive stuff and sex stuff is really important and good. So like you can say these jokes are edgy or tasteless or whatever, but I don't think that they're inoffensive, and I think it's pretty important that people should be able to make jokes about stuff like this. And I guess we'll talk about it more when Denims gets up there, but these are not like media trained celebrities. These are just like people who have Twitch channels. That's what Twitch is. Twitch is a site where like people can make a channel and then they can create content and people can come watch them. They're just like mostly normal people who like talking to each other at the moment. All right, back to Ethan.
So first we have this black face mask.
It's one of those products that it's like, look, just put this on your face. You're gonna be everything wrong in your life is gonna be fine. Once you
Yeah.
put this black schmutz on your face, I seriously need all the help I can get. So I'm going big.
I'm getting it all over my black cape and beanie.
Push it. Well, it's black. It shouldn't matter.
I guess so.
What do you do if you have like a beard?
I don't know your problem. It's pretty sexy.
Straight Looney Tuning it. 1950s Looney Tunes.
All right. So as of 1 minute and 9 seconds into the video, Ethan and Hila have a black face mask on. There are 4 things I want to draw attention to from those 35 seconds. 1, Ethan called it black schmutz. Schmutz is a Yiddish word that means like dirt or something similar to dirt. So, you know, I said I would draw attention to when dirtiness or cleanliness came up. Two, Ela commented on his appearance and said he looked sexy, which is weird because, like, does he look sexy? He looks like he has a face mask on. I don't know. I mean, she's married to him, so maybe. I forgot what the fourth one was. Just give me a
It's one of those
second.
products that it's like, look, just put this on your face. You're gonna be everything wrong in your life is gonna be fine.
Oh, I remember what it is. Ela talked about how she didn't want to get it on her like cape and beanie, and Ethan said like it didn't matter because it's black, which is a really weird thing to say. You don't want to get like face mask stuff all over your clothes. It doesn't matter if it's the same color as your clothes. Like, Ethan seems to be like so cued into the fact that this thing is the color black that he's lost track of other physical properties that a normal person would realize, like that you don't want beauty products all over your clothing. And then toward the end there, Ethan said they were straight Looney Tuning it, 1950s Looney Tunes. It's really hard not to read that as him being extremely aware that this is reminiscent of blackface. Looney Tunes has some censored cartoons which like haven't been played since 1968, except like I think it said one time in 2010 it was exhibited theatrically. Because the cartoons so heavily used ethnic stereotypes, specifically African and African American stereotypes. So like, it's really hard when he's saying that to not read this as though what he's doing is consciously tied in his head to ethnic stereotypes of Africans and African Americans, because he just made that connection out loud. Right. So that's what he's up to. Let's check back in on the podcast, though, where people are going to say something anti-Semitic at any moment, I'm sure.
It's more of a vibe.
Yeah.
I got a text from
Honestly.
VO that was, I knew VO was having a good
Oh,
time because I just got a
no.
full
No,
text at like 1
stop.
a.m. and it just says tacos. Nothing else, dog. In all caps. VO just goes tacos. And I'm like, now? He's like, yes.
No, I was just announcing
Like-
when I got them.
I was like, thanks, dog. I can't make it. I'm in bed.
Vio sent me a video of them eating Pringles.
Stop.
And I was just like, yeah, we're still on the streets, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, no, that was a good video.
Yeah.
I like that video. I should
It was
post
good.
it. No, I'm not.
We'll put it up
Never
here.
mind.
Sorry, there's something very human about being drunk and eating snacks.
No crumbs.
Not for the live audience, but when you guys see it on the other channels, we'll put it up right here.
Thank you,
Girafster, where are you?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Good
Everyone-
luck.
Everyone clap for Giraffe for editing the pod.
Soleil.
And another big clap to Scoot as well here in the front row. He's
Yeah,
shaking his head because he doesn't
Scooty!
want to be recognized. Thank you so much.
Goody.
Stop shaking your head. Accept it. He's flipping us off.
You
He
are flipping
did flick us off, and it's
edit
not
that,
cool.
Edit that in, actually.
Honestly.
We're good. All right, let's, what, are you looking at my thing?
Do
All right. They're talking about having a good time at TwitchCon. They talked about being drunk and eating Pringles and sending texts in the middle of the night about wanting tacos. Fine so far.
This isn't blackface, guys. I don't care what you say. This is an actual fucking product to clean your skin. You guys are bigots and racists for putting these racist remarks in your head. This is an actual product from China used to cleanse your skin, and that's the purpose we're using it. If you guys want to make this a racially charged issue, that's between you and yourself, okay?
Who said anything about a racial?
I know what they're thinking. I know what you're.
Okay. We have made it. I want to like express, because maybe I didn't express this very fully yet. We're watching a live panel where they can't edit, and when they say something, it's like out there forever because it's being live streamed. Versus an edited and pre-recorded video where like if they said something they wanted to take back, they could have edited it out, they could have reshot the scene, they could have chosen not to publish the video. Or they could have taken the video down at some point in the last 8 years. But anyway, that hasn't happened. So as of like 1 minute and 9 seconds into the video, Ethan goes on a small rant about how what he's doing isn't racist and how he knows all the audience thinks it's racist and it's blackface. Which is such a weird thing to say, because if you know that a significant portion of your audience is going to find what you're doing racially insensitive and offensive, but it's a pre-recorded piece of content, you can just not publish it. Right? Also, there's no live audience, so so as Hila points out, who's saying it's racist? I mean, some people might be now, but when they were recording it, nobody had yet. I don't know. Anyway, we now talk about butts a bit.
Get at my thing?
Do what you gotta do.
Oh, let's bring up the next guest. Denims, the #1 political woman on Twitch.
I'm moving. I'm getting less and less famous. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming.
Thank God.
That they put us next to each other.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me
Am I gonna
too.
sit over
You can
here?
sit right here. I get farther and farther away on the couch. This is the vibe.
Maybe you should consider sitting all the way over there.
Yeah, you
No,
can sit in the
I'm
audience if you want to.
I'm not leaving the stage. This is my
It would be
moment.
so much better if you were in the audience having a conversation with her.
Like,
Yeah.
should I do
That'd be
that?
sick.
Should I just be in the audience? Should
Yeah,
I just
sit
be in the
back there.
audience, like
Just
over
sit
here?
back there.
Just like how far back? How far back do I go?
As far back as you can, but just go sit back there.
Honestly,
Do you
wait,
want-
wait, wait. Can you do me a favor, please?
Yeah.
Please go through that door.
Through the doors?
Go through that door.
What's the range on these microphones?
Oh,
Is it this
see,
far?
I'm
It's good.
good.
Out.
What are these, Shores? Like, we need these.
This would be sick for the
Perfect,
pod.
perfect. Keep going.
Do I leave the room? I don't think I
It's a
can.
fire alarm. It's a fire alarm. If an Arab pulls that, we're all screwed.
You're right.
Yeah,
I gotta come
yeah.
back. I gotta come back. I gotta come back. What's your name? Kareem. Sick, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we did it. We're doing it live.
Yo, so we have to talk about Twitch.
Okay.
What's your favorite emote?
Ooh, that's a good one, actually.
BTTV, FFZ. We don't give.
Briefly, we're watching bigger chunks of the podcast than we are of the video because, again, the podcast is longer. It's resonant to me that Raph jokes about how if an Arab pulls the fire alarm, we're all screwed. There's, I think, a running theme of joke throughout this panel. Like, one of them. There are jokes about lots of different things, but one of the things that jokes are about is, as Arabs, they are seen as threatening. And as Arabs, they will be judged together if one of them does something bad, kind of idea. And that is a really sad thing for people to feel like they have to joke about in their lives, in my opinion. I don't want to imply that it's like, I am happy that these people are people and that they exist, and I am sure that they live rich lives, but also, like, I really wish that nobody had to joke about how people found them threatening. And I think that a lot of men in particular can relate to the idea that you can be threatening to other people, and we understand, I think, most men about how our presence can be threatening and are cognizant of it, have to be cognizant of it, and yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we can maybe relate to even if we are not ourselves Arabs. I want to say, because, like, it is maybe a relevant background. I'm a white guy, obviously, but I am also an immigrant. I came to the U.S. when I was 12 or something, 12 and a half, I think, from New Zealand. And so while I've gotten to experience white privilege, I have also had an immigrant experience. And the immigrant experience as a white person from New Zealand is pretty unique. White immigrants in America are treated a very strange way because the country generally favors white people. It in-groups whiteness pretty heavily. But also, like, I'm not an American. So I'm simultaneously part of, like, this big in-group type thing, but also I stand out from it and don't quite fit in. And as a New Zealander, there also isn't like an expat community, really. There are not many New Zealanders in the world. And so, like, yeah, I have met other New Zealanders who moved to the US, but it's not like there were any of them at school with me. And it's not like I go to any events with them or anything like that. There just aren't very many. When I went through my citizenship ceremony, there were like 5,200 people or something in LA. And they did this exercise toward the end where they called out all the countries people were from and had people stand up to celebrate. And like they called out Mexico and like tons and tons of people stood up and were cheering and everything. They didn't call out New Zealand. I was the only person from New Zealand, and presumably they missed that my country was in the list. Or maybe they just don't do it if there's only one person from that country or whatever. So at the end, they were like, if we didn't call you, you can stand up now. And that's when I stood up. So I've had my own like immigrant experience, and I don't know if that surely colors how I see some of this stuff when we're talking about how the existence of certain people interacts with culture.
We don't talk about the other one.
About global emotes. Just BTT. This question is just
What is
for
this
me.
line of questions?
Favorite emotes. BTTV, FMC included.
What's the most recent one that they've had for September? That's just like the most low effort purple blob that does this.
Not bad.
That one is currently my favorite.
Anyone could draw it.
Exactly. It's so accessible.
That's what I like about it. A baby looks at that and go, I can do that.
I can do that.
That's not
That's
bad.
easy.
What's your favorite
Miles can do
emote?
it. I'm gonna be shameless. My ass shaking emotes. I have this emote that's like a sussy, but it's got a really shiny ass and it's just fucking going. And it's been my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, but you're allowed to.
For
because
legal reasons, she does not have that on her page. Do not go
No, you should
look
check
at
it
that.
All right, so we've introduced Denims. This is the other guest on the panel. Like I said before, these are like just people for the most part. These are not millionaires. I don't think, unless their millions come from somewhere other than Twitch. And like I believe Frogan used to be in a medical field before, like public health or something, before becoming a Twitch streamer and stuff like that. So like these are just people who came to Twitch and want to make content on Twitch. They're talking about emotes. They're talking about how they like accessibility in emotes. They're talking about how they like butts. All pretty sensible, straightforward, easy to understand human things.
I know what you're thinking when you look at me. I can see it in your eyes. You don't act like.
Not in our channel. We don't do that kind of bullshit. Okay, now.
Okay. There is something incredible about saying that you don't do stuff like black shit. Like blackface. That kind of shit. Stuff like blackface. On your channel while talking about how all of your audience is going to think that you're doing blackface on your channel while your faces are covered in black stuff.
Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna brush our teeth
This one's pretty weird.
with charcoal.
So people actually use this, right? Instead of fucking toothpaste, people put charcoal powder and brush their teeth with it.
And I got us even black toothbrushes.
So what, do I just dip it in?
All right. So we've talked about how we don't do stuff like blackface on our channel. We don't do racist stuff here. And we have introduced charcoal, which we are going to brush our teeth with while we wait for our face masks to do their thing, I guess. Okay. Cool. I want to note here, because it rapidly becomes impossible while watching this video not to be talking about blackface regularly, that having black stuff on your face doesn't necessarily mean that you're like doing an offensive type of blackface. Like, as a white person, it's okay for me to use a beauty product which darkens my skin while it's on my face. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. However, as a white person, I would also, like, because I am aware of what blackface is and the fact that it's offensive to a lot of people, kind of a little bit offensive to me, not because I'm black, but because I want to live in a country where people care about each other, and I think it's a great example of people not caring about each other, and I'm out here trying to care about people. And if you're just like openly not, then like kind of fuck you. But I'm not trying to make this about me, so, I'm just saying, like, this is something that can be offensive to lots and lots of people for lots of reasons, right? God, I went to a concert in Seattle last month, and we got tickets for, like, the cheap seats in the balcony, and you had to go up a, like, separate staircase off a side door to get to them. And I was like, this is weird. And then so like I like Googled the venue, and it was the seating for like the segregated, like the colored people to watch the show from. The theater was made in the early 20th century in the US, at which point in Seattle, which is not a place that has ever even had slavery, segregation was still something that was built architecturally into our buildings and public spaces. And so, yeah, I sat and watched the shows from the seats that would have been for the segregated population. And, they had separate bathrooms up there. And then when we left, we went down the stairs and went out the door straight onto the street without intermingling with the other people who were at the concert. Like, racism is still present in America, and it's present in America in terms of, like, there are people who are racist, but it's also present in America in terms of, like, our institutions are constructed around the idea that the country is racist. Our public venues are structured around the idea that our country is racist. There has not been enough time since, like, law caught up and gave equal rights for the things that we put in the country when racism was active and, like, legally put into being to have been replaced. They are still here. So I don't think racism's cool, and I don't like it, and I would prefer people not be, like, super insensitive. However, that being said, like, blackface isn't just having black stuff on your face. Blackface is, like, it's about caricaturizing blackness and mocking blackness. And sometimes, like, a better example of blackface wouldn't be about, like, the color black. It would be about, like, making your facial features look like a caricature of black people. So, for example, when mocking black people, sometimes people doing blackface performances would, like, make their lips look really big and stuff like that. And I shit you not, in order to get a picture of what that might look like, I didn't have to do any Googling or anything, because I was looking at the other videos posted by Ethan and Hila around this time, and this is one of the thumbnails for a different video. So it might look a bit like that. Anyway, all right, back to the podcast.
I think you have the best emotes on Twitch, because when you blew up in Japan just for your emotes, I did not understand it, but it was sick.
They call me penis nose lady over there.
Dude, I love VO spin.
So I want to, like, pause there, because this is a really important. There's going to be, like, a multi-part thing where I want to take us through each part that happens and talk about each part of it, because I think they're all pretty important here. Noses just came up. The reason that noses came up is Vio's talking about how she blew up in Japan because viewers there really liked her emotes, and says that they call her penis nose lady over there. And now we're talking about why. So this is, like, her lived experience. There are a bunch of people who call her penis nose lady.
I love VO spin
I
so much.
noticed the other day that I, like, have phantom nose, and I just do it, like, like, randomly. I'm just, like, sitting there, like, I'm like, oh shit, oh no, oh no, it's happening.
Dude, I was gonna say, Phantom Nose has, like, a racial thing for Arabs, you know what I'm saying?
Why'd you point at me, the only Jew on the couch?
No,
That's
I didn't
crazy.
point at you.
That's insane.
Okay. So now we're talking about phantom nose, which is when you, like, can see your nose in your vision and play around with it. At least that's my understanding of what phantom nose is. And Vio is talking about how she, like, messes around with that as a stem. So we're talking more about noses. And Capri says that phantom nose sounds like, what did he say? Like a thing Arab people would be into or something like that. I don't know why he said that. This is possibly racially insensitive. And Raph, who is Jewish, again, like immediately tries to call this out and move away from this.
Dave, why'd you say phantom nose and point at me? That's insane.
I'm pointing at the Arab side of you.
I'm sitting next to Denim's the most Arab streamer.
Is this true? Am I the most Arab streamer? I don't think I'm the most Arab streamer.
I feel like my dad is the most Arab streamer.
Yeah, easily.
I feel like if your dad
So like, when people are joking about things, one of the things that joking like about something collaboratively does that's really cool and powerful is it lets you talk about things that are kind of like edgy and uncomfortable to talk about in other parts of your life. And so it lets you explore things you might have blocks about. It lets you kind of like delineate where a person's boundaries of comfort are so you can understand them better and stay inside them in the future, because the stakes are lowered when you're joking. If you say something that's that crosses a line for a person in the spirit of joking, they can be like, hey, whoa, let's not joke about that, let's change the subject. And that is one reading of what just happened here. Is Raph's a little bit uncomfortable joking about noses. He's Jewish. He's saying, let's change the subject. And then they do change the subject. So, yeah, I don't know. Or else maybe I'm completely misreading it all. But, like, I think this is allowed. I don't think people should get banned from Twitch for 30 days for that. I think this is a pretty important thing for us to be able to do in public spaces, is joke about things when we are like from different cultures from one another, to talk about those cultures together and joke about stuff. And if someone's like, whoa, that's actually a thing that I don't feel comfortable talking about, we move on and there are no hard feelings. And I think that's what you see the creators doing here. That's the thing that you get to do in a country with free speech on a platform with like the ability for people to express ideas and talk about lived experiences with other people who have different lived experiences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's all fine. But I did want to note it because it is a mention of Jewishness. I'm pretty sure that's the only mention of Jewishness in the panel. So if you're sitting here waiting for the anti-Semite stuff to happen in the panel, and waiting for them to start talking about Jews and being super negative and stuff, I don't believe Jewishness comes up again. So just an interesting fact.
Yeah, he would. That's why he's not allowed on the platform. My mom got a TikTok and beat me in 2 weeks, dude.
She did kind of mog you now.
Dude, she's big.
Yeah.
She's blown up in the Arab world.
So what happened to you? Where's the talent?
He's blowing up in other ways.
Yeah.
Oh. This is right. No.
So welcome to our panel.
It's another one of the jokes where like we are threatening, we are terrorists kind of thing.
Keep it. We're keeping it in.
So we're we brought you guys here today because we want to rank streamers on how Arab they are, or Arab coded.
Okay.
We know Vio, you are not Arab.
I'm
okay,
not.
you are Persian. Very nice. Thank you so much for being on this couch with us.
Persian.
But we're going to do it anyways. We want to bring up the tier list. Scooty, producer Scoot. Scoot.
All right, so they're going to talk about being Arab, and they're bringing out a tier list with which to do that. This is where we get into the stuff that people actually got really upset about. This I already kind of talked about, talking about the like jokes about the nose thing. You see that the panelists are aware where there's potentially charged stuff, and also that they're comfortable diffusing them and changing the topic. I put eep here because I felt like diffuse was maybe a bad word to use given the exploding joke, but then I decided to keep it in because I'm allowed to make jokes too. And also, I didn't want to think of a synonym, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So generally, I'm observing people like making jokes, but deliberately trying not to go too far. They regularly talk about how they're trying to be conscious of the fact that this is a live setting. They don't want to overstep. They're aware that if they say something that's going too far, they can't edit it out, etc., etc., etc. And yeah, I mean, that's like live comedy. This is all pretty normal. I don't know. seems fine.
So what, I just dip it in?
You dip this in the water, and then you just take some on your toothbrush.
Okay.
And then you just brush, apparently.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And that works?
Well, let's see.
Ugh. Do you have a spit bucket?
Ugh. It feels like there's sand in my mouth.
It looks like it. Get a close up of that.
Oh, by the way, don't swallow it.
Oh, thanks. They're like, oh, and by the way, if you swallow this, you die.
A couple of things I want to say here. One, even though we're doing a thing that's for cleaning our teeth, we are talking about how it feels dirty. Said I would talk about cleanliness versus dirtiness, and that is a thing here. It's also, I don't think this is intentional or racist. Like, even if you convinced me that Ethan and Elo were trying very hard to be as racist as possible right now, I still think that this is just a coincidence. And like, I'm not bringing you this video with the assumption that they are trying to be racist. The reason I'm showing you this video is I'm trying to show you that white people can do stuff that is so much more egregiously incendiary than what happened on the TwitchCon panel. And not only do their careers not end or anything, but also they, for some reason, later are considered to be authorities on what's racially insensitive and can stir up hate mobs that are big enough to move the ADL. Weird stuff. But anyway, when I was talking about de-escalation around like joking about noses, I talked about how like people are like being careful not to step over lines and stuff like that, de-escalating, changing the subject when something is a little bit uncomfortable to talk about. What you're seeing Ethan do here, or at least what I pick up on that Ethan is doing here, is escalating a lot. So, for example, this is like a very neutral example of escalating. This isn't offensive, I don't think. But
By the way, don't swallow it.
Oh, thanks. They're like, oh, and by the way, if you swallow this, you die.
so that's not what was said. Like, just don't swallow it. Like, it'll upset your stomach if you swallow it, is my interpretation of that. And like, I think a reasonable person's interpretation of that, you wouldn't put something in your mouth that would kill you if swallowed. But here's Ethan saying, like, immediately escalating to the most extreme thing that he can think of, in order to like joke about the product. But I wouldn't characterize what Ethan is doing as like joking, really. I would characterize it as mocking, which I think is a meaningful distinction. But I mean, maybe you disagree. I don't know.
Scoot. Oh, that's a big step for his little legs. That is such a big step.
I'm nervous. So
That's good. Open it up a little bit. Yeah.
Open it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we made this beautiful science board tier list. That's not gonna work.
Here we go.
Balance it.
Don't worry,
We'll
we
cut all
allocated
this
time
out.
for this
We'll
to
cut all
happen.
of it out.
Denims, I have a question for you while they're doing this.
Okay.
We're good.
A long time ago, you said Nathan Fielder's ass was like perfect. Do you still feel that way?
I
or-
said that?
Yeah, you did.
My invasive
yeah, you
thought.
did.
I black out when I
Nathan
stream.
Fielder?
Yeah.
What ass?
I black out when I stream, so immediately after I'm done streaming, I don't
I was
remember
just
what I
thinking
said.
about it a lot today.
His ass?
Yeah.
Why are you thinking about it? Why are you thinking about his ass?
How are we on time? Yeah. I wish I got a thumbs down. That would have been great.
You're doing good.
Okay.
We're in the middle of talking. You're talking about someone's ass and you're asking about time?
It was very important, man.
It was important.
The time or the ass?
Both.
I want to know more
Can I
about
say
the
something?
ass.
Yesterday I was walking around. I was like, oh my god, that guy kind of looks like Sneeko, and I realized he was
It was
actually at TwitchCon.
That was me with Neon. I saw him. I was like,
Very relevant context to the panel. Sneeko is the name of a content creator who was banned for 2 years on Twitch for spreading COVID misinformation, but who also said some anti-Semitic stuff. And I think it's like generally agreed that it was anti-Semitic. Like, it's not like some people said it was, and then if you go look at it, you're like, where's the anti-Semitism? I think it's more like, oh, that is anti-Semitic. And so some of the tension around anti-Semitism on Twitch was that Sneeko's ban was expiring. It was a 2-year ban and it was expiring. So like the anti-Semite is coming back, which is interesting because we don't really have like classes of people who aren't allowed to ever stream on Twitch, that's not really how it works. Like, there's a code of conduct that says don't be racist or whatever, but I don't think on Twitch in general, the way that moderation is working is someone's thinking like, this set of people is racist, so they're not allowed to make accounts. How Twitch works is reactive. This person said something racist, so we're going to suspend their account. It goes the other way. And like Sneeko did something that was against Twitch's rules, so he got a 2-year ban on his account. But then after the 2-year ban ended, his account's meant to come back. That's how Twitch works. And like, you can dislike him and think he's an awful person or whatever, but you disliking someone and thinking they're an awful person doesn't mean they're not allowed to stream on Twitch. What means they're not allowed to stream on Twitch is like if they're a minor or if they do something that gets them moderated off of Twitch. Sneeko, since this panel, has been rebanned, I believe permanently. So, I mean, I'm not really under the impression that he's a good person, and if anything, I think Twitch should ban more people rather than less. So I'm not going to come to you and tell you that that's a great injustice, but it is outside of how moderation usually is understood to work on Twitch by most creators. Like, in terms of like, what does fair moderation look like? I don't think most creators think it would be fair for a bunch of people to say one creator was racist and then that person gets banned from the platform unless they do a thing on the platform or in a place related to the platform, perhaps, that like breaks rules. I don't know, maybe over 2 years Sneeko became a better person. Probably not. I don't know. But yeah, we have brought up Sneeko, and so you might be thinking, oh, the reason that they're getting the anti-Semitism thing is that they're like sympathetic with Sneeko or whatever, yeah?
Is that Neon? I was like, can't be him.
Dude,
And then some other guy screamed, oh my god, it's Neon. I was like, what's he doing in here?
They
I
just
don't
wanna
know
be here,
who
that's why I
Neon
know.
is.
They just want to make some friends.
They want to make friends.
But
Twitch
nobody
for
wants
me.
to.
They're like those kids that get picked for the team, but they're like, we just want to be here.
Yeah,
Like,
we just want to support, man.
we'll hit you with the waters. Okay.
TwitchCon for me has been very fun so far.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
So they were not like super positive about Sneeko. They weren't like super negative about him either there, but like in general, they were just like, those are kids that didn't get picked for the team. Why are they here? They're not really like invited. Like, what's going on? Which,
I got called Mia Khalifa
Sure.
yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
All right.
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
you thought you got hate crime for like 20 seconds, and you were like,
I was like, I don't know how to. I was like, is this like a hate crime or is this like a
and
compliment?
I look at Frog and I was like, I wish someone walked by me and be like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio, like, what? Okay, not that. Oh, he's creep.
Not even because he's a creep, just because he's ugly.
Okay, something good.
God.
I'm just saying it's better. Like, you thought you were gonna get hate crime. It was a nice hate crime. It was kind of racist, but it was nice.
And then 20 seconds later,
In what world do you ever think you would look like Leonardo DiCaprio?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying any. It's
you're
not a-
giving Sacha Baron Cohen.
You look like
vibes
Aziz
every
Ansari,
day.
dude.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
You know what?
Let's name worse people. Let's just circulate even worse people.
Ayatollah Khomeini. Pass.
Are there even any Arab?
all right. Lots of stuff to unpack there. One thing Raph just said, let's just keep on naming worse and worse people, and Capri went to Ayatollah Khomeini. So if we're thinking that these are people who are deeply invested in like terrorist interest and want to create a massive Islamic State or something, well, most of them aren't Islamic, and also they're naming this person as the worst person they can think of right now, or whatever. Frogan got called Mia Khalifa, who is, I believe she's Arab. I assume that's why they're bringing her up. I honestly don't know her ethnicity, but she is, or at least was, a porn star. I don't know what she does now. Some porn stars have moved to Twitch. Twitch has a very porous boundary with sex work. Actually, there are a lot of the same types of labor involved in working at Twitch and doing sex work. That's going to sound weird to you because you have an immediate assumption about what the labor in sex work is. But actually, like, there's a lot of like catering to fans and people who feel entitled to you and try to push past your boundaries and stuff like that. A lot of streamers and a lot of sex workers have to deal with like stalkers and toxic relationships with people who have like a one-sided relationship with them, basically. And so there have been like instances of porn stars moving to Twitch and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's why Mia Khalifa got brought up, but I thought it was an interesting comment to bring up. It's interesting to think about sex work in the context of how it relates to Twitch streaming. Denim's sitting there is a Twitch streamer and also has an OnlyFans. This is like a porous boundary to some extent within the levels of comfort of the creators. But yeah, she's like talking about getting compared to Mia Khalifa and being like, did I just get hate crime because someone was saying that like all Arabs looked alike? But then after a bit, she decided that it was a nice thing to say because Mia Khalifa's hot, I guess. And then we're talking about like actors that Capri looks like. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I was trying to think of Arab actors. This is really on a tangent. This is moving largely away from the racism or racially insensitive stuff that is in these pieces of content into like more talking about how society is structured. So I looked it up. I looked up a list of best Arab actors of all time on IMDb. And like very few of these people are people who have like appeared in a movie in the last 10 years. Or at least people whose big movie was in the last 10 years. And then I was like, I wonder how that compares to a list of the best white actors of all time, just because I was sort of curious. Not like I was expecting anything, I think it's good to be curious and to like look into things and investigate. And sometimes you find something that's really interesting and sometimes you find nothing at all. The thing that I found stuck out was when I replaced Arab actors with white actors in my Google search, which was like most famous Arab actors are most famous, most successful Arab actors or something like that. Google just gave me the top 100 greatest actors of all time. It just left white out of the search, which is fascinating. That's kind of fascinating, right? I mean, I think that's a little bit fascinating. But if you look through this list of 100 actors, created 11 years ago, 4 million views. They are pretty much all white. Not all. Like, I didn't actually do that math, but I would guess like 90 of them-ish are probably white. I don't believe I saw a single Arab actor in here. So, yeah, like, I don't know. Thinking about which celebrity you look like. I guess is a bit different. Being compared to a porn star, some of the people of color I know have talked about. I think the like most succinct form of the joke is, are you white or are you a porn category? Like talked about how representation of people who look like them is more existent in porn than in traditional media. I'm wondering if porn is kind of traditional media. We've been making porn for a very, very long time as humans. But like mainstream media, maybe like Hollywood media, that sort of stuff. Hollywood is also kind of where the porn gets made. Yeah, whatever. It was striking to me. I think that one of the nice things about seeing people who have different life experiences from you being people is that you like start to think about different things from what you usually think about. And especially in this world today where social media algorithms drive so much of what we consume, and we no longer have like trouble getting information. Now we have trouble getting true information. Like if anything, we have information overload where we're just getting bombarded by notifications and endless feeds and stuff nonstop every day of our lives. It can be nice to take control of what your attention is focused on for a bit and let somebody else from a different part of the world, from outside of your little like cultural echo chamber, talk about the things that are important to them, and then you can start thinking about those for a bit. So I don't know. I thought that was just kind of an interesting tangent for me to go on. while listening to this panel.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. What the fuck?
How does it look?
Gross. It looks fucking gross.
I feel like I just want to die. Oh my god, you look scary.
Gross. You know, why'd you buy this shit? I think I swallowed some, Hila.
Oh no.
This is one of the things that's interesting in watching this to me. When I lived in LA, like, we shopped at like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. I even did some volunteering for a Label GMOs campaign while I was in LA. I'm down with GMOs, but I think consumer product information is important. I more bring it up because like the people I was around were very into like the naturalist health sort of stuff. And I think I've brushed my teeth with charcoal before. Like, I think that's a thing I've done just to like try it because, I mean, like they say, this is a thing that people do. But I'm not sure if I actually have or not because I have no memory of it being remarkable in any way. And watching this, what it looks like to me is just that they have like a toothpaste substitute in their mouth, basically. But they're both like kind of overacting about it being terrible and talking about how gross it is and how like Ethan says that Hila looks gross, which like she doesn't. She looks like she has a face mask on and toothpaste on. I mean, if she looks gross, it's because of the connotations of the fact that she has made her face black. And the gross thing about that is that she's chosen to do that, not that the black is gross. Hila actually says that Ethan looks scary, which is a lot. Ethan doesn't look scary. He looks like a dude with beauty products on. They're also married. I don't know if she's really afraid of him in this moment, and if she is, it's deeply concerning to me to try to think about why that could be. It's somewhat hard for me to come up with reasons why someone might say he looks scary that don't have to do with the color of the beauty products. Just, in, like, yeah, I don't know, like, I'm not opposed to trying to come up with, like, positive and neutral interpretations of what's going on here. I'm not trying to be super negative about it. I'm trying to fairly think about, like, what's a positive spin on this, what's a neutral spin, what's a negative spin kind of things. It's hard to find the positive or neutral spin on that part in particular to me. I guess like the positive spin is they're trying to do drama content. They're not actually racist. They're just not like having enough emotional intelligence to realize that this is offensive to people, and you know, they make money off of it. In which case, like, it's kind of the YouTube algorithm's fault because a video like this gets served and clicked on and watched and has ads placed on it and stuff, which is kind of messed up. Yeah, anyway. So here comes the tier list. This is a big moment.
Are there even any Arab actors we can think of?
There's none of us left, dog. What are you talking about, dude?
Speaking of Arab things, should we get into the tier list?
Let's do it.
So
Let's do it.
I have a bunch of people's faces on my lap, and we're just gonna go through and tier them. So we have tiers that we put together. The first one is Arab. Okay, so if you're Arab, you can say Habibi. Does anybody else want to explain it?
No, you're doing a great job.
I'm
I
I
mean,
feel like I'm talking too much. I don't feel like talking.
here, let's have Denim.
I'm gonna pause here because I want to like restate what's happened so far. Let's kind of like walk through this sensibly together. Frogan has introduced the tier list and said that it's a tier list of whether or not you can say Habibi. Like, Habibi is an Arabic word, which like it's a term of endearment. And so if you are Arab, you can definitely say that. But then the further away you get from Arab, the like less you can pull off using the word Habibi in a casual conversation. Which is, here's the thing: tier lists are shit at communicating information, and talking about race is always going to have potential to be incendiary. And the reason, a large part of the reason that all of this is a problem is you can look at this tier list and say Arab's at the top. That means they think Arab is good. And the stuff at the bottom is stuff that they think is bad. And people shouldn't be rating people from good to bad based on their race. And that is a hypothesis which we can pay attention to as we watch the rest of the panel, basically. Because if that were truly what they were doing, I would agree that that's like tremendously insensitive and gross and justifies a suspension of their accounts. You shouldn't do that. But that isn't actually what Frogan said they were doing. She said they were rating whether or not people can say an Arabic word in a casual conversation. Yeah.
I'm just explaining. Yeah, she has no idea what's going on. Let's have her do it.
I'm looking at you, honey.
Oh, okay. We have faces of famous streamers, okay? We are going to tier list them from most Arab to the least Arab, okay? Listen, why are you interrupting me right now, dude?
Okay. So Raf gets going on the explanation, but gets interrupted. But he says he's going to tier list famous streamers from most Arab to least Arab, which I don't know if he was then also going to say, like, in the context of can they say Habibi, because the people who are most Arab can and the people who are least Arab can't. This is a comedy panel, right? This is not a super serious situation, but anyway.
I'm not going to stand for this on the live show. This is insane. Cut that out. Cut this all out.
How many episodes have you guys done?
36.
How are you guys still going? This is a crazy chemistry. Chemistry.
Chaos, I love it.
I think people just like watching brown people yell at each other.
Oh, it is so entertaining, though. Actually, you're right. No, you're right.
We're really popular on Twitter right now.
Who's we?
Raph?
No, I'm all the way over here on the end of the couch.
All right.
But we are going to tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi and who can't.
And also,
So, okay. There is Raf getting to finish his answer. We're going to discuss who can say Habibi and who can't.
we have tiers. We have Arab, Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you got like a white guy's like, can I say it? Is it a slur?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then you have thinks it's a slur, where it's like a white person that really they're like, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm so sorry. And then love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Yeah,
It's
they're not allowed to say
It's
it.
basically like you can't say it, and if you say it, you're literally hate criming us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is the perfect transition to our first person, Hassan.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think if you listen to what they're saying, it's not a list of Arab is good, not Arab is bad. I think both of the people who gave an explanation of the tier list said, although one of them said it after being interrupted halfway through, it's a tier list of whether you can say Habibi or not in a conversation, with people who are most Arab being most able to, and people who are least Arab being least able to. And then Capri also explained that they have like tiers that are kind of, I mean, he didn't say jokes, but I think it's kind of implied by it being a comedy podcast / panel, right? That are about whether you can say Habibi or not. So some people might ask permission to say Habibi. Some people might think it is a slur. And then the bottom tier is Love Sabra. And this is where so much issue has occurred. Frogan says that the bottom panel is basically like, you can't say Habibi, and if you do, you're hate criming us, etc., etc. But nobody like has said what Sabra is yet. And if you clip this out of context, there is no mention in these 2 minutes explaining what Sabra is. I mean, they'll talk about that later, but we can right now. I guess. First off, is it okay to rate whether people can say Habibi or not? I think I'm not certain, but I think this panel is actually inspired by a similar tier list made by a Black creator about something to do with whether someone could, like, I don't know which part of culture the jokes are being made about, but like whether someone could participate in some part of Black culture or not. So this isn't like an original idea to make a tier list of whether someone like I don't know, gets to come to church on Sunday or something. As a white person, we might make a tier list of whether we would have let someone vote in the 1800s. Anyway, the point is, like, the idea is we're talking about whether someone is a cultural fit with being Arab or not. And whether it's okay to talk about race and culture and whether people fit into it is okay or not okay in different circumstances. If I were mean-spiritedly saying that someone would not have been allowed to vote in the 1800s, that would be a terrible thing for me to do. Like, that's really gross and has terrifying racial undertones and stuff. But if I'm like shitting on myself constantly, and the people going in the top category are like terrible, terrible human beings, and the people in the bottom category are not all terrible human beings or whatever, then that can be like a comedic exercise. This is a tinderbox, right? This is like a thing where if someone interprets what you're doing negatively, they can get really upset about it really quickly. 100%. In this context, though, it's a comedy podcast made by Arab people. So they seem under the impression that this is a thing that is okay for them to talk about. They're talking about whether they're culturally Arab or not. They've also taken inspiration from a Black creator who did something similar. So they have already seen a person from a different culture do this without like massive repercussions or whatever. At least I don't think there were massive repercussions for that person. I don't know. I should have researched that. Oh well. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I don't know. I don't think this is breaking any of Twitch's terms of service. I don't think it makes them ethically bad human beings. I don't think it's being done out of a place of hate. I don't think there are other criteria that spring to mind immediately that would make this a terrible thing to do. It may not be a great choice from like ad safety perspective. It may not be a great choice from a professionalism perspective, but I don't think that professionalism and brand safety are main priorities for these people, and they don't have to be for Twitch creators. So yeah. Anyway, like comedy can be offensive, right? It like, is this more offensive than Borat? I don't think so. But it's certainly more offensive than some other things. Yeah. If you're talking about whether something is offensive on like a linear spectrum, which it is hard to do because different people take offense to different things. We talked about the bottom category, Love Sabra. So much of the criticism of the tier list construes it as being a tier list that goes from Arab to Jew specifically. So it isn't even from Arab to not Arab, which is what the creators were saying. In which, like we said, that could be pretty incendiary if people took that the wrong way. But the creators themselves were saying not like Arab is good and not Arab is bad, but we want to like ask, are these people culturally Arabic? Do they get to say Habibi or not? So in the actual mechanism by which they're using it, doesn't have to be so bad. I would say just isn't bad, to be honest. But a lot of people have construed Love Sabra as being standing in for is Jewish. Sabra is a Jewish Hummus brand, and the word Sabra is sometimes used for Jewish people who were born in Israel. So people are reading Loves Sabra and thinking that that means Jewish. I want to point out, like, if it's about people who were born in Israel, it would be sabras, right? So grammatically, that isn't what it says. But like people who are thinking this are thinking like it's a dog whistle. That's what they mean, even though they're not saying it out loud. And that's definitely a hypothesis that we should pay attention to as we watch the rest of the panel, because like the panel's there, right? We can investigate this and see if it's true or not. And before we call people racist and everything, we should see if they are. Like we should collect the evidence and look. This is an important thing in America. Like ideally, justice would be like meted out fairly by like a government body following due process. I think that is an ideal that we once had in America for justice. But I hope that even in the world of social media and hate mobs and mob justice and stuff, we can still have like at least like the idea that we check the evidence and see if the thing we're being hateful about happened. So we're gonna do that. Because that's like a serious accusation for sure. But obviously the creators haven't said that that's what they're doing yet, nor have they really given any impression that that's what they're doing. They've mentioned Jewishness once, which was the one of them who's Jewish saying, hey, let's not joke about noses. And like I showed you earlier, Raf's tweet on the subject after this all was about how he, the Jewish member of the panel, made this tier list, which is about who can say Habibi, and that it's not about, you know, whether you are Jewish or not. So, yeah, it's worth, like, when we're testing a hypothesis, seeing if there are other things that could explain something. So if there's only one explanation of something, then like, yeah, we probably have to go with that explanation. But here's an alternate possibility. Maybe the creators don't like Sabra. Sabra is a hummus. Maybe they don't like it. So here, for example, is a blind taste test that they have on their channel from, or actually not on their channel, on a different channel, but
That was surprisingly really good. I would.
This is talking about the previous
Costco came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
hummus.
I think it was Costco.
That's Sabra. That's Sabra.
Bro, that looks dry.
That's either Sabra or.
Ew!
It doesn't move.
That's Sabra.
What the hell is that?
It's a little crunchy on the sides. Oh, why is it old? Oh my god.
That is thick. That's like toothpaste.
This is Sabra. It tastes like it says
Sabra.
that this is Sabra. This is 100%
It smells
Sabra.
like it.
This is the worst one we've had. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Mm-mm.
You don't like it?
Mm-mm.
What's wrong with that?
That's number 7. And
right?
then we'll put red as 6 because. And why are you going again?
Okay. So they didn't know that that was Sabra. It's a blind taste test. Yeah. They don't like Sabra. And they are Arabs. Hummus is a food that is eaten in the Middle East, which is where a lot of Arabs live. Hummus is a part of Arab culture. The next hummus in the blind taste test is from Capri's mom. So this is like a food they have eaten homemade with their family, etc. This is a food that they have strong cultural opinions about. They have made content about this type of food before. So right out the gate, I would say like a much simpler explanation is they think that hummus is important to being Arab and don't like Sabra. So if you love Sabra, you're not Arab. This would be kind of like if I were making a tier list about whether you could do a white person thing. I don't know what a white person thing would be. And at the top it said like, yeah, you're white for sure. And at the bottom it said, no, you like spicy food or something like that. With the claim being made that like white people don't have spice on their food very much. Maybe it would make more sense to say British than white for that one. Anyway, these are ill thought out. But the point is that it doesn't have to be like a hate crime against Jewish people. And if I, as a white person, made that tier list, I would not think to myself for a second that I was hate criming like Indians because Indians do like spicy food. Like, that wasn't what I was talking about. How is that even relevant in any way to what I was saying? So, yeah, that's all that. Like, yeah, there are some mines here that you could step on, but like, there's a pretty simple explanation of how this is like just some like well-meaning non-incendiary comedy about being Arab. But we can watch the rest of the panel and like see what people say, right? See how it goes.
Oh no!
Poison control. So guys, I cannot endorse this product enough. Charcoal spearmint flavor naturally activated powder. Stop using toothpaste, guys. It's not good. It's not all natural, and it's definitely not made of charcoal, and it's definitely not made of something that if you swallow it, it has the potential to kill you. What do I do if my mouth's not clean? Do I put more of this in it?
Oh my god.
Okay, so we have basically more mockery from Ethan and more escalation. He's mockingly endorsing the product, obviously sarcastic, and he is talking about how his mouth still doesn't feel clean, so he is just taking a full mouthful of the product. Sure. I want to talk more about cleanliness and like purity here because it like keeps coming up. I know I said I was gonna tag it at the beginning. I really like the film Zone of Interest. It might be called The Zone of Interest, but it was a film about the family who, the family of the man who ran a concentration camp in World War II in Nazi Germany, or maybe in Poland or whatever. I guess I don't actually know which country the concentration camp was in, but yeah. The film focuses really heavily on cleanliness, and it like really leaves a lasting impression on you, or at least it did on me. It opens with a person from the camp cleaning the camp commander's boots for him, closes with a shot of staff at the museum that exists on the site of the camp today, cleaning the museum to prepare it for visitors. And this is not accidental and it's not arbitrary. Conversation about like genocide and eugenics and things like that often talks about purity, and it talks about cleanliness, and it also talks about impurity and dirt and disease and vermin and stuff like that. And yeah, it just feels responsible to say that in a video about like racially insensitive stuff, you kind of have to, I think, key into the fact that cleanliness is a really loaded thing to be talking about. And I am not saying that that is why Ethan and Hila are talking about cleanliness a whole bunch, but it is really awkward as a choice of subject matter for a video which is talking about blackness. Cool.
Son is Turkish.
All right, we are now starting the tier list. We are going to start putting people on the tier list.
But he's a brother,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah, I think he'd be on Arab coded.
I mean, I would put him in Arab to be honest.
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish
think he's
people are
done enough
different,
for
but
us.
really.
I put
What do you think he should do?
Okay,
honestly.
Oh, I didn't have a follow-up question. That's actually really
so
good.
you said Arab coded, Arab.
Arab coded.
I'm still pissed about the Ottoman Empire.
So what do you want to put him as?
Arab coded.
Okay,
Thank you.
pass it to Scooty.
There you go.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Skittish. Thank
There
you so much.
Whoa, Scoot. Broke her board.
All right, so first person's on the tier list, Hassan. Hassan is Turkish, which is distinct from Arab. And But like basically the creators say like they like him a lot, so they're going to put him in Arab, like he can get away with saying Habibi. Sure, whatever. Capri also says that he still holds a grudge about the Ottoman Empire, which I didn't know was Turkish, but I guess it was from Turkey, maybe? That would kind of make sense. I am ignorant about this thing. That would explain the joke. Worth noting that there aren't a bunch of people saying that the panel is tremendously hateful toward Turkish people because he said that. It's like a very direct thing where he says that people from Turkey, like he doesn't like people from Turkey, because of a thing that I guess is associated with Turkey, the Ottoman Empire. And nobody is on social media saying, oh, the Ottoman Empire was also called the Turkish Empire. I did not know. Nobody's on social media saying that the entire panel is an attempt to be racist against people from Turkey. Interesting to me.
That felt a little personal.
Like, everybody gets that's a joke, right? Is what I'm saying. The things that the people are saying on this panel are jokes.
It looks good. All right, what's our next person?
Austin Cho.
Oh, and Austin Cho is Lebanese.
Yeah.
Also, we don't have an applause button, but every time we see a streamer clap, you know, be like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, thank you. Wow, thanks.
Austin's my husband, and I spanked him yesterday at the Bait Lords with a leather paddle.
Excellent.
Thank you.
No, you just had to be there. But Austin, let's go down the line.
He's
Arab.
Arab.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's
He's Arab.
Lebanese. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's Arab.
Woohoo!
I saw that one.
This is not.
This is good.
I thought we
Go
decided. Okay.
All right. So we have one person who is Turkish and one person who is Lebanese in the Arab category, which isn't like exactly we're putting people who are Arab in the Arab category, but like, yes, these people are very similar to Arab, so they go in that category. They can say Habibi. That is the thing that the creators are saying. Frogan says that she spanked Austin at TwitchCon, which good for her. I believe Austin's, if this is the Austin I am thinking about, he's like a guy who runs dating shows and he's kind of like an outsized personality and does lots of joking around sex stuff and things like that. So like, that's pretty in keeping with who he is. I don't think that joke is meant to be like mean to him or anything like that. I think like it's like a lot of what we're doing here. And I think this is like, if we're viewing this panel in terms of a like narrative tradition of things that groups of people have done over time, I think what you're seeing in this panel is people who have basically like mixed identity. These are Americans who are also Arab. It's easy, I think, to use even a teensy bit of empathy and understand how being an American who is an Arab can lead to you feeling conflicted internally and confused about like whose side are you meant to be on and what is good and what is bad. And I think when people struggle to work out like who they are exactly, like which part of them is the real part of them, and like there isn't any truth, right? We're all sorts of things mixed together. I'm an immigrant myself, and am I a New Zealander? Am I an American? I don't know who could say. There's code switching where you're one type of thing with some people and another type of thing with other people. Identity is a difficult thing for so many people. And I think often when you're like confused about your identity or want to have a more solid idea of what your identity is, a thing that humans have been doing for just a really long time is getting together and talking about like, okay, so we are all American, let's say. What does being American mean? And then you might say, well, is that person American? Is this person American? Is that habit American? Is this habit American? Does doing that make me a bad American? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is like a part of the oral tradition of humans, in my opinion. This is a way that we talk about identity, and that is sort of like the context that I am seeing this show in. Rather than thinking that this is an elaborate conspiracy to hate Jewish people, despite barely mentioning Jewish people at all, I think that's like, in my experience of life and seeing the lived experiences of others, that's what I've seen people meaning when they do stuff like this. Yeah. So that's kind of like my vibe as we start to put people on a tier list.
Ew! Don't do that! Oh god. Remember not to swallow. Oh, gross.
Hila, what is this?
I don't know.
Remember, guys, remember to use charcoal all naturally activated toothpaste.
Alright, so Ethan's mostly just being gross more. I find it really jarring that they didn't, like, finish the sex joke. Where Hila, like, told Ethan not to swallow, and he didn't, like, do a that's what she said or something, because that would be so, like, semantically in keeping with everything else about this humor to me. But they didn't. They just left it there for me to complete in my mind. I am thankful that Ethan didn't spend 20 seconds lecturing me and telling me that I was like a sexist creep or something for thinking that. Thank you, Ethan, for letting me feel okay about myself this time. Yeah, I mean, mostly they're just being gross and mocking the product and stuff. Yep, sure. Okay, here we go.
The next person is one
Here
of my
we
favorite
go.
people.
We're gonna play this one at 1x speed.
Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
It's Ethan Klein. He's like in the title of the movie or whatever. Oh my.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one. That's good. All right. Turn that up. Turn giraffes.
We all know where this is going.
Okay.
So we have the crowd, who I haven't heard verbally suggesting anything so far in the panel. Like they're very engaged with this. They are booing. They are saying that Ethan should go in the Love Sabra category. I think it's like structurally important to recognize that the crowd is saying that Ethan goes in the Love Sabra category, because if Love Sabra is a dog whistle being used by the creators on the panel to mean Jewish, and if Ethan is being put in Love Sabra because he is Jewish. By the way, Ethan is Jewish. I don't know if that was apparent or not. But yes, Ethan is Jewish. The like crowd seems to be in on it too. Like, how large a conspiracy is this of anti-Semitism exactly? I don't know.
I'm giving the audience input. They're like, you know, fuck what you guys had to say.
Dude, where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke.
Okay. Denims says something very inflammatory. She suggests that they need another category for Zionists. Remember how I said, like, when people are making jokes, they'll like push boundaries, and then if they feel like they hit a boundary, they'll like de-escalate a bit. She immediately like backs off and says that was just a joke. That was just a joke. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have interpreted that as her being a horrible anti-Semite. I have a different opinion. We can talk about that a bit later.
Denims.
Also worth noting, again, if the bottom category is a dog whistle for Jewish and is meant to mean that Jewish people are bad, why do they need another category for him to be in instead? Doesn't make sense, right? Our hypothesis that the bottom category means Jewish and the content creators have gotten in on this together and are putting the Jewish people there is not like receiving much support from reality right now as we watch what the content creators do.
Well, obviously it's Love Sabra, right?
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's easy. That's
Definitely Love Sabra.
Also, can we like this little thing has been analyzed by lots of people in the context of anti-Semitism, but I want to analyze it in the context of humor, because I think it's actually really beautiful and a much better way to analyze it. Like, let's analyze this from the perspective of like humor and human connection.
Dude, where's the you guys are missing a category for Zionist.
So Denims says a very like risque, pushing the edge kind of joke, right? Spit takes, reactions.
That was just a joke
Denims backs off and de-escalates immediately.
in my
Raph escalates. Raph starts like chanting her name and cheering her on. This is like people communicating around a boundary together. Denims is like testing, like, is it okay to joke about Zionism with this group? And Raph is saying like, yeah, go for it. It isn't nonverbal communication, but it's indirect communication through the context of joking. I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Well, obviously it's Love Sabra, right?
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's easy. That's
Definitely Love Sabra. All right, so there he
Are we
goes.
being messy?
Yes.
You put him as number, yeah,
I'm
our
so
third
scared.
choice.
Honestly,
Dude,
keep it
Capri's
on the
gonna
box.
have anxiety about this for the rest of his fucking life at this
Dude,
point.
I see these faces and I'm scared.
Yeah. I'm like going.
All right. So, we have put Ethan in Loves Sabra, and like the hypothesis that the top means Arab and the bottom means Jew does not seem impossible right now. This like could be a tier list where they're putting people they like in Arab and saying that they like those people, and putting people they don't like in Love Sabra, by which they mean Jew, allegedly, and saying that they don't like those people. So far, there isn't like overwhelming evidence to suggest that that isn't true. Of course, anybody who wanted to call them all racist would watch the rest of the panel and see, right? No, but it really feels like you should. I have so many things to say about this minute. First, is it racist to joke about Zionism? Because we had a joke about Zionism there, right? Is it racist to joke about Zionism? Like, well, Zionism isn't a race, so it certainly doesn't have to be. You could joke about Zionism and by it mean to say cruel things about the people who espoused Zionism, and to you, maybe that could mean a certain race of people who you're being cruel to. Honestly, in America, when we talk about Zionists, like Zionism and Jewishness are very decoupled, but like maybe you could live somewhere where they are very coupled and interpret Zionism as a thing that was equivalent to Jewishness. In which case, joking about Zionism would be kind of like joking about being white. And if you're joking about if you're joking about being white, is that racist? Well, no. Again, you can joke about being white without being racist. But it could be racist if you were joking about being white in a way that was racist, right? So in order to get racism out of this, we have to like be in a mindset that Zionism means a race, and we have to be in a mindset that the joke is offensive, like racist, to that race. I think something like that. Anyway, I don't think it's offensive. I don't think it's racist to joke about Zionism. Now there are organizations which disagree with this take, and that's the world that we live in, that I live in. I personally think that it's okay for people to poke fun at Zionism in similar ways to how I think it's okay for people to poke fun at other ideologies. We live in a country with free speech, and you're allowed to make jokes in it. And that's the country that I believe I live in, and the country that I would like to continue living in. You can absolutely find this offensive, though. If you do find this offensive, maybe comedy shows like this are not for you. And fortunately, you can leave. So here's a wild thing about live comedy. If you had access to like recorded live comedy over the course of like history, you could find so many offensive things to be so upset about. A lot of the time, a lot of those things that you could interpret as offensive and be offended about were funny to the person talking in the audience and were not meant in any sort of mean-spirited way. Live comedy is like a conversation between a comic and their audience. There can be heckling and going back and forth and insults and jokes, and sensitive subjects can come up and crass jokes can be made about those sensitive subjects, where if you don't have like the context of what's going on, where people have been building rapport and people are like there with the pretext of having fun and telling jokes, if you don't have that context and you just hear it out of context, it's like, holy shit, that's so offensive. But live comedy like often isn't taken that way. Like often it's taken as like, oh, that's really funny, like we're laughing, this isn't serious, it's a comedy show. And so yeah, I do feel pretty strongly that going online and finding clips from live comedy shows and trying to interpret them as being as offensive as you can possibly make them is not a great recipe for enjoying your life and is really unfair to people doing live comedy. And the fact that people are doing this to like brown people doing live comedy, it doesn't feel like it's being done evenly to everyone, shall we say. And when something isn't being done evenly to everyone and it's being done more to Arab people than it is being done to other people, like we have words for why. And they're not like good words that you really want to be associated with. Different line of questioning entirely. Is it justifiable to call Ethan a Zionist? Because a lot of people like took a lot of offense to Ethan being called a Zionist, including Ethan. It's a joke, right? Ethan hasn't actually been called a Zionist. Denham said, oh, you need another category for Zionist. Immediately walked it back and said it's a joke. It's a comedy show. She said it was a joke. It is hard to imagine how much more clearly it could be communicated to you that somebody isn't being serious. And yeah, we're allowed to make jokes like this in America. The people who are there because they do want to watch the show and enjoy it instead of being upset about it, like these jokes. The audience reaction is rowdy. Like this is probably the like biggest response that anything said on the panel so far has gotten. Rather than assuming that the meaning of the joke is that Ethan is a Jew, which is bad, and everyone in the audience is in on it, there are other things that could explain the joke. Like we're looking at people who have extant content and have been making content for a long time and are talking about people that they know and members of the audience know. And so they will know about like other things that have happened, right? And so here's an example of a thing that the joke might be referencing. All right, sorry, I had to go find it. This is a clip from Ethan's podcast where he talks a little bit about Zionism.
They're looking for any little nugget to get indignant over and to call me a Zionist. If you call me a Zionist, you're anti-Semite. You know why? Because I'm not a fucking Zionist, and I've made that exactly profoundly, deeply clear. So when you see someone on Twitter, when you see someone in the audience calling me a Zionist, what they're calling me is a fucking Jew.
So that's Ethan talking about Zionism. And if you fast forward from that clip immediately to Denham's calling him a Zionist, and like that's the context of the remark, there are two ways that you can read it. One, you can believe him. you can believe like everyone who calls Ethan a Zionist means he's a fucking Jew, and that's bad, etc., right? Or you could observe that this is a comedy show, and you could observe that what Ethan just said is like wild. He just said that everyone who calls him a Zionist just means he's a fucking Jew. He basically said that everyone who calls him a Zionist is an anti-Semite. That's a massive thing to say about other people. He's saying that other people like cannot criticize him in this way. It isn't allowed. The only reason anyone would do that is if they're racist. That's like wild. That isn't how the world works. I couldn't tell you the only reason anyone ever says this criticism about me is that they're racist. Like what? That like people are allowed to have legitimate criticisms of me and of Ethan and of the creators on this panel at TwitchCon. And that's all allowed. So, in that context, like Denims is maybe like referencing that clip and saying like, you mean the guy who like gets really sensitive about being called a Zionist? Like that's why she's bringing up Zionism, is that Ethan talks about Zionism in outlandish ways. I don't know exactly, but that makes a hell of a lot more sense to me than that she's just decided to like destroy her own career by going full mask off at TwitchCon. Like, what? I'm sorry, I just think that is a really weird thing to think that Denims is doing. Alright, is that a thing that's okay to joke about though? Okay, so again, yes, we live in a country with free speech. People are allowed to be jokingly critical of other people. And Ethan, having spoken in exaggerated ways about Zionism within the discourse that these creators are having in their communities, makes sarcastically joking about Ethan being a Zionist funny to people who understand the context of the remark. So, I have 3 readings here. I have the most negative reading of what's going on. The tier list that we're looking at has Arab at the top, good, and Jew at the bottom, bad. Zionist is a particularly insulting word for Jewish people. Creators think Ethan should be in that category because they think he is particularly Jewish, which is particularly bad. The audience doesn't like Ethan because they find him to be particularly Jewish, because the audience was also booing Ethan. Ethan himself, in his like video that kind of like lit the fuse that made this viral and brought a bunch of people demanding that these creators received like penalties and stuff and had their accounts suspended and what have you. And then the ADL got involved. Anyway, here's how Ethan frames it.
That was a good one.
That's Jewish.
Nobody in the audience is booing because, like, this is when they're showing his face, right?
That's
Jewish.
They didn't say he was Jewish. He's in this video, which is the video that sparked this entire thing. He is saying that the entire audience is anti-Semites and that the only reason they're critical of him is that he's a Jew. That is a wild accusation to make. That's just wild. But also, on the other hand, it's not like the first time that we've heard Ethan just like out of nowhere talk about how everyone's racist,
this is
right?
Blackface, guys. I don't care what you say. This is an actual fucking product to clean your skin. You guys are bigots and racists for putting these racist remarks in your head. This is
So I don't know. Maybe that's just a thing that goes on in Ethan's brain where he thinks that everyone is racist sometimes. I don't entirely get it, but that's what he did. Yeah, here's a more neutral reading. I think this is a very fair reading, in my opinion. The tier list is about whether people can casually say Habibi or not. That's what the creators have said it is. More than once. Arab is at the top and very not Arab is at the bottom. That's what the creators have said it is more than once. Ethan is very not Arab, and Denims thinks he's so not Arab that they could add another category at the bottom of the list, which is even more non-Arab than loving Sabra. A Zionist would be very culturally non-Arab in her opinion. Perhaps she also thinks Ethan is a Zionist. I don't know. The crowd is booing Ethan for a reason other than his race, perhaps his behavior, for example. I think that is a neutral reading. I think so far in this presentation, we've already seen things about Ethan's behavior which could justify a crowd booing him. I'm also going to give you a positive reading. This is a positive reading of what's going on right now. Ethan is included in the panel because he used to be friends with a lot of the people being talked about before falling out. So Ethan has like kind of fallen out with a lot of these people more and more over the last year. It's obviously been a very hard time for kind of everything, honestly. I was thinking about people for whom it hasn't been a rough year. Prior to 2 days ago, I would have been slightly more rosy about it for a lot of us. But anyway, the creators are poking fun at him in a similar way to how they poke fun at each other. He's still included in their social norms. Like, making fun of people on this panel hasn't mean that you dislike or hate those people, right? It's meant that they're like part of your group and you're joking together. So like very positive reading here is that by joking with Ethan and including him as a person in their panel, they're including him in the social group that they're a part of, and like he still gets to be part of their jokes. Zionism is relevant to the creators' lives, which is why they feel comfortable joking about Zionism. We're reading the joke about Zionism not as being about hating Jews, but as being about the fact that Zionism is relevant to Arabs. Zionism is an ideology about like a Jewish ethno-state in the Middle East, and Arab people currently live in the Middle East. So that seems really relevant to Arabs, in my opinion. And so the joke about Zionism isn't really that much about Ethan, even. It's part of the like thing that they're doing throughout this panel where they are joking about lots of different things and seeing if that's an okay thing to joke about and getting to know each other better, so on and so forth, and making their audience laugh or boo or chant or cheer or whatever. It's entertainment. We're allowed entertainment. Putting someone at the bottom of the tier list isn't even a bad thing. And the crowd is booing Ethan because he plays a heel in this content circle. That, I think, is the most positive reading. Like, Ethan isn't a serious person. I'm trying not to say that in an insulting way. We've been watching another one of Ethan's videos, which is still up on the internet, and it's really hard to watch, like, his stuff and be like, oh yeah, that guy's a really serious guy who you can't tell jokes about, and everything has to be on the level with him and stuff. And like, he makes a lot of money from stuff like this. So anyway, I think the neutral reading is sensible. That was an attempt to give you a positive reading. We also gave you a negative reading. You might think that some parts of each reading are true. You might think that something else is going on. I don't know, but there are definitely different ways to read what is going on here. And now we're going to go to the very serious Ethan Klein again.
Activated toothpaste. Keep your mouth and gums healthy and glowing. It's the all-natural way. Don't use toothpaste. That shit is for suckers and people who don't know how to be healthy and organic.
You feeling okay?
What are we doing?
Are you ready for the next black product?
Black?
The the fuck is going on in this video? Anyway, Ethan continues to overact about how gross having a toothpaste substitute in his mouth is. And then Hila, with one of the weirder freeze frame smiles I have ever seen in my life, looks to Ethan, stoically deadpan, and asks, "Are you ready for the next black," emphasis, hers, product? To which Ethan responds, "Black?" Like, if you read a transcript of this, you would think, like, you had been teleported to another planet or something. Or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe your experience of people joking about blackness has been different from mine. In which case, I guess I should like check my privilege a little. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of wild to me.
Going through my list.
So we had a bunch of different hypotheses about what could be going on with this tier list now, right? So there are another 29 minutes in the panel. And so instead of deciding to end these people's careers, calling them horrific things, saying that they're racist, etc., 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 I thought maybe we could keep watching the panel and see if that's true. So now we're going to talk about more creators.
We're trying not to.
We got Miskiff.
Miskiff.
Whoa! Yay! Yay!
Let's go
Yay!
down the line. You're the baseline, Rafi.
I'm the what for what?
Let's just start our ranking.
Oh, I never trust Arabs with blue eyes or just people with blue eyes in general. I just
he's
don't.
not Arab.
I just don't, and he's not Arab.
I have blue eyes. And I'm Arab.
He's Arab coded. Isn't he Arab
Hold
coded?
on. You talked about blue eyes in your picture. You literally have blue eyes.
Yeah, it's called AI. I don't like
You
paying
put
artists.
AI eyes on yourself?
Yeah, I was kidding.
You're like,
Yeah, I did. I put AI. You think my eyes are blue?
dude, what?
Go back. Go back
Like
to
an
slide.
old grandma.
Look at me, dude.
Well, why would you do that?
I look like an otter in this picture. You wouldn't do that?
Dude,
I look
I made
gorgeous.
myself look uglier.
Yeah, I know.
This is a thing that I just don't get. I have blue eyes naturally. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here.
No one told you to do that.
Yo, you can't do that. That's,
I made myself attractive.
that's not fair. That's not. You can't.
It's fair.
That's so like Facebook Lebanese shit. Dude, 100%.
It's my Facebook profile
Dude,
picture.
100%. You said that to cousins like, oh, look at this. Very nice.
Not directly, but I did tag him in my photos. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miskiff, what do you think?
Ms. Kiff, context, is a Jewish content creator.
Honestly, I think he thinks it's a slur.
I'm pausing because, like, did you hear how there, like, wasn't...
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
a Jewish
you guys
content
to
creator?
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
Laughter and booze. All right. Now we go to
Going through my list.
I
You
think
gotta pick someone else.
we're
another
trying not-
Jewish
We
content
got
creator.
the profile
Dude,
picture.
100%. You said that to cousins like, oh, look at this. Very nice.
Not directly, but I did tag him in my photos. Yes. Yeah.
Miskiff, what do you think?
Honestly, I think he thinks it's.
If it's because they hate Jews, why aren't they booing the other Jew? Like, I hate to ask the tough questions here, but our hypothesis seems really bad right now.
It's a slur, but he just says it anyways.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go as well.
Yeah,
To be honest, I was going to say he's Arab coded because people always say him and I look alike.
you do.
You do. That's
Yeah.
your brother.
It's
I saw
uncanny.
him at a party the other day and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Arab coded even though everybody else is saying different things.
I agree with Raph. Thinks it's a slur and would probably say it
Probably
as
just
well.
says it
Such a
anyways.
good description.
Yeah, he probably
It's
would
so
just say
good.
I would say, why don't we put it in the middle of those two?
Yeah.
We don't we have the
That's
technology.
Do we have the technology to do that?
We
just
have the
kidding.
tech. Rapster, edit that in.
Rip it in half.
Thinks it's a slur.
Just put it in thinks it's a slur.
Just put it in thinks it's a
slur. There you go.
And I'm not the majority.
There we go. Beautiful.
Did they even mention that he was Jewish? And then they didn't put him in Love Sabra. What's going on? I thought these were terrible anti-Semites who have to be banned from the platform.
Who's next?
Hold on.
You brought all the faces.
Jordan Adika.
Yeah, that's it.
Jordan.
Okay.
Huh?
What's your name?
I think maybe I ate a little bit too much of all naturally activated charcoal spearmint tooth powder organically made for clean, healthy gums.
I can breathe.
Wait, oh,
Let's
my
close
mouth
it.
feels dirty. Should I eat some more?
No! I got something especially for you, Ethan.
What does that mean?
I got black hair dye.
Oh,
For men.
shit. Are you trying to say something, Hila, about my hair?
No.
I'm going to show you another 30 seconds here, but something that's really remarkable to me as they move from talking about like things that are black that they're mocking and stuff to hair dye is I think there are actually a couple of kind of funny jokes here. They are very cruel toward middle-aged men, but like there is suddenly humor instead of just mockery, which is fascinating.
Are you trying to say that my hair's gray and you don't like it? You want to dye my hair black? You want to be one of these fucking guys who walks around in his like 40s, 50s that looks like he's obviously dyed his hair? It's like a fucking joke, dude.
I didn't say anything.
It looks like he had a goddamn printing
What,
accident.
you don't want to look like this guy?
It's like he had a printing accident. Notice though, because I think this is really important. The color that they have on their face is one of the natural colors that human skin can be. And they haven't been talking about it in terms of like making a joke about someone having a printing accident, or really in terms of any amount of humor whatsoever. They have been talking about it as like gross or scary. And now that is the same color. The hair dye. It's the same color. It's one of the natural colors that hair can be. It happens to be one of the natural colors that their hair can be. And they haven't talked about it being gross or scary.
I do actually. He's quite handsome, and his
Ethan just said he's quite handsome.
hair is very nice.
And his hair is
Just
very
for
nice.
men, by the way. By
Yeah.
the way, guys, in case you're wondering, just for men. Excuse me. I'm getting too excited.
Got refreshed.
It's so fresh. I love black water, premium alchem water, because it's so fresh and natural.
Do you
Then he immediately, when drinking water that looks like a color that water shouldn't be, that is black, goes back to mockery. For the most part, I'm trying to be like pretty neutral in this video and stuff, but that minute is actually frightening to me. Like scary, like like not good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Jordan
Okay.
Adika! Yeah!
He's not even here, so we should put it under Love Sabra.
Yeah, we should
I
just.
was gonna say he
Be
definitely
honest.
thinks it's a fucking. Oops. I'm sorry. He thinks it's a slur.
I feel like I know he's not Arab, but I want to put him in the Arab category.
He's
There's-
he's Arab coded.
at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Arab coded.
Do you think it's like the fact that he looks like Freddie Mercury with the mustache?
Oh my God, yes,
or-
100%. Yeah.
And his teeth are fucked up too.
Well, that's just because he's British, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
That's different.
You're right. You're
That's
absolutely right.
really mean, dude. Put it. Put it.
I love him.
Just because he's from Manchester. I don't know.
Yeah, do that again. Do that again. I'm so sorry. Do that again, please.
Oh, wait, we didn't
yeah,
get
yeah,
Arab
the
coded.
R.
Arab coded.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
It's in Manchester.
No. Manchester.
Manchester. Okay. Ludwig.
I kind of phased out for that entire thing. They're talking about, I believe this guy's name is Jordan. I don't know who he is. He's British. They put him in Arab coded. For some reason, I don't remember why. Sorry, my brain just like went to a pretty dark place. I don't know why we are putting him in Arab coded. I don't really know why we're putting like a lot of the people who get put on this tier list and the places that they get put, which is kind of like by design because it isn't a scientific experiment. It's like a tier list for a comedy show. It's like a joke activity, right? So yeah, that's what's happening over there.
Refreshed.
It's so fresh. I love black water, premium alkaline water, because it's so fresh and natural.
Do you feel like it's hard to move your face? It's a pretty funny feeling.
I love BLK, period, premium alkaline water, because it's pure, fresh, and it has a 70+ alkaline trace mineral level. Pick up your own bottle of BLK at your nearest scam store for $8 per bottle. It's going to save your life, guys.
All right, so Ethan is continuing to like mock and stuff, and you know he's still doing all that.
Well, we have
Next up is Ludwig.
Ludwig! Yeah.
What do you think?
I would say ask permission.
Ask
I
permission.
definitely ask permission.
I think so. Ludwig, I've seen him like going to chats like during Ramadan. He's like Ramadan Kareem, so like he's woke. Like he knows that. He knows his stuff.
He's woke.
He's woke.
They got him, bro. They made him woke.
Dude, a white person saying Ramadan Kareem is pretty fucking woke.
He's woke, dude. I don't know what I want to rank him. Love
I would say Arab coded or
No,
Asperman.
No.
Did you hear? Just like they're talking very favorably about Ludwig. They're talking about how he goes into Twitch streams, and I don't actually know. I am not as woke apparently because I don't know what he's saying in Twitch streams, but something Arabic, I believe. And so they're like talking about how he's like woke and stuff. And Frogan suggested she wasn't sure where he goes, maybe in Loves Sabra. How does that make any sense with our hypothesis that Love Sabra is like a hateful category that they are using to be anti-Semitic? It makes no sense.
Ask permission.
Definitely ask permission.
Should we make somebody in the audience mad or should we wait?
What?
What was that English?
Yes or no?
What?
The what?
Yeah, do someone in the audience.
Mike!
Mike.
All right, so they ended up on asks permissions for Ludwig. Sure.
Going to save your life.
There are some content warnings on this that are like obvious, like, of course, if I'm talking about like racism and white privilege and stuff, like we're going to be dealing with concepts of race, right? We are also, this is a thing that I think could be triggering for some of my audience that I think you wouldn't expect. We are also going to deal with like needy adult child, which I imagine is something that upsets some people. So I just wanted to let you know that was coming.
Guys. I can feel the cancer being flushed out of my body as I drink.
Purity. Yeah, I can feel the cancer being flushed out.
Cheers to your health, everybody. So my mom, Donna, is a hairstylist, and she knows what she's doing with the dye. So we're gonna have her swoop in and
I
dye
have
my
no
hair.
idea how to do that.
You're gonna end up getting my eyes. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
blind or something.
Okay,
So
so-
let's summon the mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
All right, so Ethan is summoning his mother not by walking to where she is and asking her if she can help, but by just sitting where he is and yelling. As a cat owner, that kind of triggers me. Because that's a behavior that my cats have.
Mike.
Me personally, I'm putting him in Love Sabra.
Yeah.
Love Sabra.
Love Sabra.
Yeah.
Here is a member of the audience. He is sitting front and center at this comedy show. Everyone's applauding him. They are chanting his name, and they are all collectively deciding to put him in Love Sabra.
Love Sabra. Everyone clap for Love Sabra, please. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike loves Sabra. I would put it down there. Sit down. This isn't an interactive show. What are you doing?
Security.
Security, please.
Security.
We got a heckler. Next is XQC. Damn, they're missing.
Oh my god, that's so mean. We should at least move him up one.
No, I just love it. Next is
All right, we have put Mike in Love Sabra. I don't know, maybe that was hateful. It sure didn't look like it to me. Also, Mike, for what it's worth, is currently embroiled in controversy because he said that he wouldn't vote for Harris because she supports Israeli actions ongoing in Gaza in the U.S. presidential election. So the hypothesis that Love Sabra is about like the people who support Israel and are Zionist and are Jewish feels weaker because of that. Obviously, Israel and Jewishness are not the same thing, obviously. But like it feels like putting someone who is openly critical of Israel in a category that was meant to be for people we don't like because we are anti-Semitic doesn't make any sense. To me, really. I don't know.
Mom! Mom!
I feel like I'm entering like the portal to hell in Event Horizon or something right now. Like, how is this reality? I don't know.
Hey,
Oh my god.
are you ready?
I thought you were gonna dye your hair, not your face.
Well, that's part of it. It's the Black Project, so it's a whole experience.
Why are you dyeing your face black?
It's a treatment from China, and apparently it removes all of your facial impurities.
So it's not gonna like stain your face?
No,
or
it's
anything?
permanent. It's permanent.
As a white guy, it would just never cross my mind that I could make any of these jokes really without my career ending. So, I don't know. It's just profound to me that this is a thing happening. Yeah. All right. Anyway, do love Ethan's mother's confusion about why he's put black stuff all over his face. I imagine mothers are not hoping for their adult children to yell their names and for them to then come into the room and see that their face is covered in black stuff while a camera's recording them. So a lot of appreciation for her ability to not instantly leave her body involuntarily as this happens. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving her too much leeway in her like condoning this. I don't know.
Love it. Next is Ethan. Next is XQC.
Can I make an argument here?
Yeah.
He has an accent like my damn dad. So I don't know if he's Arab. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I can't understand my dad. So I would put him Arab coded.
Right now they have XQC, who is a white guy. He is French Canadian, I believe. And they're talking about how he is unintelligible like their dads, so they think maybe he's Arab.
I think honestly, I weirdly agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of screaming, a lot of you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah,
and then sometimes he says things that are good, and sometimes he says things that are bad.
He says things that are offensive to everyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's like, yeah, dude, you got it right. Like, good job. He's like, it's just
So this is like a very direct communication about what this content creators mean with the category Arab. They don't mean like good. The things I've mentioned right now are like unintelligible, yells a lot, says things where you don't understand what they mean. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. This is very ambivalent to goodness or badness. This is like a commentary on like their experience of people who are culturally Arab over the course of their lived experiences.
foreigner, dude.
I think I agree with you.
Also, I think
Eric.
out of everybody on the tier list so far, he's the only one who could pull off a tracksuit and chains.
Yeah, that's
Arab
Arab
coded.
coded.
Yeah, and that's Arab coded.
Tracksuit
That's
and
definitely Arab coded.
I know like
chains.
people want to put him in different. Like, I'm being honest.
I think that's Arab coded.
He
I'm
might-
on your side.
He'll say something like homophobic, but then also really nice. You know?
Yeah.
He'll say something homophobic, but then also really nice.
All right, next. To be quite honest, I just
Okay, I don't know how you can watch that minute of this panel and come away with the idea that this panel is content creators staunchly claiming that being Arab is good. Like, obviously, they're not here to be ashamed of their ethnicity, their race, but they're also not talking about like purity and how people who look different from them are dirty or anything like that.
It's permanent. It cures all your facial impurities by turning your skin black, and then you can't see it anymore. Do you want to try it? By the way, there's enough. No. Do you want it?
What a weird idea that black, if your skin is black, you don't have impurities in your skin because people can't see them anymore. What a profoundly strange idea about what it's like to have black skin.
No.
Because we could put this on you while you dye my hair.
No.
Okay, so
Okay, just real quick. Count how many times this woman says no to him.
Turning your skin black, and then you can't see it anymore. Do you want to try it? By the way, there's enough.
No.
Do you want it?
No.
Because we could put this on you while you dye my hair.
No.
okay, so
And then we hard cut to her with it on her face. Look, this isn't a video about respecting women, but maybe there
This
could be
works.
one of those too.
I'll recommend it to all my clients.
So why are you doing this?
It's black.
I also want to draw attention, like his mother is here now, has been roped into this seemingly unwillingly.
okay, so
If this
now-
works, I'll recommend it to all my clients.
She is immediately actually legitimizing the idea that they are genuinely, sincerely trying out beauty products. And it's remarkable hearing her doing it because it draws attention to how Ethan and Gila have not done that at all. They have mocked them. They have talked about how they look while using them, but they have not actually talked about like whether the products are good or not. Much, if at all. If this were really a video about like investigating beauty products which were black, which would be a weird video to make, but okay, maybe let's say maybe it is. They would be doing more of what Ethan's mother is doing, where she's actually focusing her attention on whether the beauty product, which is black, that is on her face is going to be good or not, and talking about like what she'd do if it was.
So why are you doing this?
It's black. It's the Black Project.
Okay.
It's just for men, by the way, guys. Any women out there considering using this product? It's just for men. No.
Remarkable that he manages to weirdly take a moment to be pointedly exclusive of women at the same time as yelling for his mother and badgering her into doing something that she says she doesn't want to do 3 times, right? Like he it's like he like planned to put a bunch of misogyny next to all the other misogyny, like a little like misogyny segment for people who didn't want to have to watch the whole video to get all of it at once or something.
I just want to say that I was the person that like presented all the people for the streamers, and I got kind of messy with them. But so I'm deciding between these two. Who should we go first?
Oh my god, the right one.
Well, the right one. You said right.
Yeah.
Let's start with the right one.
Nick Merckx.
Nick Merckx.
So Nick Merckx grew up in Dearborn, Michigan. So I think he's Arab coded. Yeah.
Dude, can I be honest? I thought he was Lebanese
I thought
for
he was Arab
a long
too.
time. I really did.
I think we should just put him in the Arab category.
Honestly, I think he earns it. To be quite honest.
Yeah, I think he earns it 100%.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rip it up, honestly, but you know.
Well, go for it. This is your show. We're just living in it.
Vio, what do you want?
Go ahead, rip it up if you want.
We're gonna put
We
it.
have worse people view. It's okay.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, look. Yo, I feel like we're about to Beetlejuice with this one.
What does that
It
mean?
is gonna
Skip
show
that
up.
one.
Oh.
Sneeko.
All right, so Nick Merckx comes up. I don't know Nick Merckx. I don't know who that is. But he gets like a few boos and doesn't seem to generally be super liked by the panelists either. But because he grew up in Dearborn, Michigan, they put him in Arab, even though he isn't Arab. Which, you know, the hypothesis that that's the category for people they like seems a lot weaker now. Dearborn, Michigan, though, is the first Arab majority city in the U.S., which is something that I found out from watching this panel. So I learned something about the country I live in from this panel, which is cool. And so they thought like he earned the right to say Habibi in casual conversation by growing up in Dearborn, Michigan, and earns a placement in the Arab tier list. Sure, whatever. Yeah, okay. I understand, by the way, how people could find this insensitive and gross. I think just the concept of putting people on tier lists is gross to begin with. I do also, though, understand how a social group of people can be okay with doing things like this. These creators are not the first people to put other creators they know on a tier list in this social group. And it's just possible to read it as harmless really easily to me, and seems a lot more consistent with reality.
Just for men, no girls allowed. That's my favorite club. Oh God.
Where did you get this?
You just...
And no girls allowed. That's my favorite club.
I know he's being sarcastic, but I don't know if you could convince me to say that on camera, even if I was clearly being sarcastic. That just doesn't seem like a thing I would want there to be a recording of me saying. I don't know.
God.
Where did you get this?
China. With all the other products.
Why did they do a cut to Trump saying China weird? This is maybe the time period that the video was in. That is maybe not about the fact that Trump is tremendously racist and stuff. I don't know.
Black is the new black. Black has always been black.
So Ethan just did that. Ethan just did that. Yeah.
Whoa.
So now they walk into the room that his dad is in. I'm gonna let this interaction play out a bit, I think.
So how do we look? You've seen me look better, right?
You've seen me look better, right? That's a weird thing to say to someone when you've colored your skin black.
Look at Dad's face.
Blackface. Perfectly politically correct and acceptable.
It's not racist, it's facial, it's face care. Why does everyone think instantly that it's racist?
Well, you know what?
Ethan's dad immediately identifies that this is blackface. Now maybe you're going to argue that this isn't blackface and it's just legitimate use of beauty products or whatever. But I think it is remarkable that Ethan's mother has immediately started asking why his face is black. Ethan's dad directly called this blackface. Ethan himself said that he assumed that a large part of his audience would assume that this was blackface. I mean, the warning signs were there, right? And I say were there something happened because of this, I guess, but it didn't. They're still huge content creators. How many subscribe? They have 2.8 million. No, 5.8 million. Sorry. They have 5.8 million followers on their main YouTube channel and 2.8 million on their podcast. Yeah. All right. So okay.
He was here yesterday. He's a supporter.
Bro, he's literally Muslim, okay?
So here's Sneeko. Sneeko is, I think I mentioned him earlier, he is a streamer who has gotten in trouble for, among other things, anti-Semitic statements and is banned from Twitch. He was about to be unbanned after 2 years, but Twitch changed their mind. He was banned for spreading COVID information, not for anti-Semitic statements, but he has also said some anti-Semitic things, and I don't think that's really contested. I think it's just kind of agreed that he has, but I talked about him more earlier. I don't need to talk about him a ton more now.
You don't count. He wants to be.
He went
so
to Lebanon. You know that?
Dude, does he actually go to Lebanon? I want to put him in. He thinks it's a slur. Actually, he would like saying if it was a slur, though.
Well,
yeah.
so
Let's put it on.
He would like saying if it was a slur, though. These people are not saying that this is a good person.
Sabra, maybe.
Yeah.
He's like his own category.
It's its own category.
He's in.
Yeah.
The bottom. Mike. Mike, I'm sorry.
Don't make him kiss, Scoot. Don't make him kiss.
The panel has decided.
Yeah, we're not debating here. You guys, I may look like Hasanabi, but I'm not him, honey.
You don't look like Hasanabi. You look like Miskiff. We already said that.
The next person is Myth. Arrow.
All right, so we have put Sneeko in Love Sabra. So we're about halfway through now. Do a little like check-in with our hypothesis. Is Love Sabra category a good thing or a bad thing? The negative read was this is an anti-Semitic category. It means Jew, and it's also for bad people, people they don't like. So halfway through, I think it's worth revisiting. The creators have considered putting several people into the category. They don't seem to have animosity toward most of them. They put Mike in it. They don't seem to mind Mike at all. He is there in the audience participating. While one person in the category is Jewish, another loudly supports Palestine, and another is known for being anti-Semitic. So the hypothesis that the category is for Jewish or Israel-aligned people is like extremely unsupported at this point. That said, they have put two people they don't seem to like very much into it, so maybe it is indicative of not liking people. But like, there's no evidence that that dislike is racially motivated. I don't think there are reasons other than a person's race that you might dislike a person. Like for example,
Politically correct and acceptable.
It's not racist. It's facial. It's face care. Why does everyone think instantly that it's racist?
Well, you know what?
I'm just trying to do
you know what?
skincare treatment.
Lush has a black soap.
Lush has black soap. Why does everyone have to say instantly, "Oh, you're blackface racist"?
If
Black
that's
your
gonna
too.
peel off. What's gonna happen to your?
all right, cool. So Ethan is loudly talking about how everyone thinks it's racist and it's blackface, and he's like, why are people doing this? I assume like obstinately being stupid. I think that's kind of his role in like the show, is to be obstinately stupid, while the people around him play off that. Anyway, his mother is still trying quite hard to legitimize the exercise. She has pointed out that Lush has a black soap. She is asking how the face mask is going to interact with his beard when he takes it off. She's doing the sorts of things that someone who actually cared about the video as a review of beauty products might do.
Myth. So Myth quit, which is I think is the most Arab thing you could do.
I'm done. I'm never seeing me again.
He'll be back though. I love him. I love Myth. One of my favorite content creators, to be quite honest.
Myth is like, yeah, he's
Yeah.
He's coming back. He said he's not going to retire for long.
He's retired.
No. If Myth is retired by next year, I quit. Jorbs.
All right, so Myth gets put in Arab because he quit, which the creators say is the most Arab thing you can do. I don't know why that is, but I guess to them it is sensible and a meaningful statement. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't seem like quitting is a good thing, although maybe it is. I don't know. Is quitting good or bad? Who knows? The belief that like people are in Arab because like Arabs are just the best and they're better than other people, and etc., 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 continues to seem to have no support whatsoever in this panel.
What's gonna happen to your beard? Is your beard?
It's permanent. It's not. It doesn't peel off. It sinks in. It's ink. It's black ink. I told you. It doesn't come out ever.
What?
So this is black food coloring.
Who sent you this?
And I heard that if you put black food coloring in your mouth, that it has an interesting flavor.
All right, so Ethan has again made the joke that the black color is going to be on his face forever, and has now moved on to black food coloring. Now, that like isn't a beauty product at all, right? Like the stuff so far in the video has had to do with like beauty and health for the most part, and like appearance, but black food coloring isn't like a beauty thing that we do here in the US. He says that the reason he wants to put it on his teeth is that it has a weird flavor if you put it in your mouth or something like that, which isn't a beauty reason. I don't know what's going on here, but for some reason he's going to put black food coloring in his mouth. You might wonder, is that insensitive too? Is mockingly putting black food coloring on your teeth culturally insensitive? Like, yeah. Like, So darkening of teeth is a thing historically done in Southeast Asian and Oceanic cultures for teeth health. Like, you you put a thing on your teeth that kind of like protects them from bacteria and stuff like that. And it's also done in Japan as a status symbol. I maybe it's done other places, I don't know. I didn't do a thorough research of this, but like, yeah, this is probably not something to do in a mocking way if you are a like racially sensitive person, culturally sensitive person, etc.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that Jarvis got just an applause without us asking for it. We had asked beg for Jordan's applause.
We gotta clip that to Jordan. You're like, what are you doing wrong? What did you do to these people?
Jarvis would ask permission.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jarvis would 100% ask permission. He would be Arab coded if he just said like a couple more offensive things, but he would ask
I think
permission.
if his hair was just slightly more curly, he'd be on the Arab coded side.
Yeah, didn't he?
In your life, he like literally. He does. Actually, he literally said, "Habibi, I'm sorry, did I say that right?" 2 weeks.
I know. That's why we got it right. We got it right. Not bad.
This next one's good.
All right, let's hear it.
There's lore behind.
Okay, so we haven't always been like keeping to the like thing where this is about saying Habibi. It's a very loose, not very strictly put together, a live comedy panel. I think we're seeing 2 examples today of how a comedy show can be a little disorganized. I do think one of them's worse than the other. Yeah. Anyway, Jarvis gets put in, asks permission to say Habibi, and actually the person managing the board mentions that he actually did like apologize and like ask if he had said it right when using it a couple of weeks ago or something like that. And the panelists say that if he said a few more offensive things, he could be an Arab coded. So again, like going toward the top of the list isn't good. Like it's not necessarily bad either, but like that isn't what the tier list is for. It's whether you're culturally Arabic or not. I feel like I've said this like probably 50 times at this point. All right.
It has an interesting flavor.
Oh no! Don't do that.
So let's see, how does it go? So cheers, everybody.
Wait,
Your health.
Ethan. What the hell is he doing?
Oh my god. Oh my
guys.
god.
Hey, everybody.
It's like a black.
I hope you've enjoyed our episode of Black.
Oh God, spit that out.
Okay.
Oh my.
This feels like culturally insensitive to Polynesians to me. As someone who grew up in New Zealand, like Maori culture was a part of my childhood, and so it's hard for me not to think about this sort of face when someone is making, oh, I lost the freeze frame, but making a similar sort of face with like bulging eyes and tongue stuck out like that, and darkened skin. Yeah, and you know, as a kid in New Zealand, like, if we made fun of this sort of face, like, people put us in line really quick, including like other white kids. Like we understood that this was a thing to be respected, not made fun of. So yeah, Ethan's still doing that stuff.
Let's hear it.
There's lore behind this one.
This one's weird.
So
I don't
want anybody to, I wanna
know
get
what's
Rap's
going on
answer.
with this one.
Tubbo.
Yeah, dude, that guy's Arab. That guy's Arab. We met him at an undisclosed place. We met him somewhere, and the first thing he does is come up to us and just recite 9/11 lore, like all the details.
He knows like the exact number of how many people died and how many people jumped out of the buildings and stuff.
I don't know that.
Dress
yeah,
I
no,
believe that
So
right
he's
now.
Arab.
He's definitely Arab, dude. He's definitely Arab. We have a lot more people on Arab than I thought we were gonna have.
I know. I have the stickers in the bag somewhere.
Do we have any beautiful women in there? Can we switch it up?
Okay, so Tubbo's like a white guy from England and gets put in Arab. The reason is that he knows 9/11 facts. I don't fucking know. However, I want to say, Arab people aren't bad for making 9/11 jokes unless everyone else who makes 9/11 jokes is too. I can make a 9/11 joke. I can put this meme here and say an Arabic content creator has made a 9/11 joke. Yeah, that's like a meme from 9/11. That's George W. receiving word that the second tower is being hit or something like that. I forget the exact situation. But yeah, like Americans have broadly been joking about 9/11 for like 2 decades at this point. And like these Arab Americans are allowed to do that. And the fact that people from Al Qaeda were also Arabic doesn't mean that these Arab people are from Al Qaeda or have anything to do with Al Qaeda or should be associated in any way with Al Qaeda or have any responsibility for apologizing for Al Qaeda or should be judged in any way as though they are related at all to Al Qaeda. They just didn't perpetrate this crime, and being the same race as a person who perpetrates a crime doesn't mean that you should be judged for the crime. This, I don't think, is complicated. I think that we worked that out and moved past it as a society a long time ago, and I really, truly hope to continue believing that for the next 4 years.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What did you think would happen?
I really respect Ethan's dad a lot in this video.
Afraid my eyebrows.
It's not
gonna come off.
racist, Mom. Why do people come talk saying that it's racist? It's just block face hair.
She just said
No,
she was
I-
wrong.
My God,
I
somebody
didn't
comes up
say
that it's racist? Please.
Ethan's mother is just talking about the experience of taking the face mask off her face. She's like saying that her skin feels raw as she does it. And I guess Ethan misheard her and then started talking over her to say that it wasn't racist, like he heard raw as racist or something. So Ethan's mother's attempts to seriously take this as a beauty product review video continue to be foiled by Ethan being loud and having his own ideas about what it is. I don't know why you leave this in the video. Like, this is a recorded video which they are editing, right? So you could just not put this part in the video. I assume that the humor that they perceive to exist in this video is tied to Ethan, like, basically being obnoxious and rude and sarcastic and mocking. And so when he's obnoxious and rude and sarcastic and mocking, they leave it in. It's hard to feel great about this as content.
Switch it up. Because women can be Arab too.
Caroline!
Women
Caroline,
can be Arab too.
Caroline
I
Quine.
feel like she'd ask permission.
Yeah, she would ask permission.
She'd ask permission, 100%.
Contrast, women can be Arab too, which is that's a funny thing to say. Like of course they can, right? But in the context of the panel where like what Arab means is so clearly confused, stating, like, reaffirming that women can be part of the Arab category is kind of contextually funny. Contrast that with like Ethan sarcastically saying that his favorite club is No Girls Allowed.
I think also like part of being Arab is being a little impolite.
Yeah.
So people who are too polite, it's just you have to put them in the ask permission.
Ask permission.
Yeah, maybe that's my. I'm just gonna be like, you're shitting on me. I'm Arab. Like, I don't have any manners. Pokimane.
Woo, Poke!
Automatic.
Ask permission still, even though she's Arab.
Yeah, dude.
She is French Canadian.
Yeah.
So.
And she would, and let's be honest, she's like
Wait, even
Moroccan.
XQC is. Wait, hold on. XQC is French Canadian, and we're putting Pokey below him.
But who looks better in a tracksuit?
Pokey.
Let's be honest, guys.
Pokey girl.
Raph has some like lovely objectification of men jokes going through this panel. I think there have been like 3 so far. Like one when he said he didn't mind hanging out with drag queens, and this one just now when he said that XQC looked better in a tracksuit than Pokimane, and there was one other. I don't know. I find jokes like that kind of men don't get enough compliments, and it's just kind of nice when a man is okay with saying that other men look good, even if it's a joke, and it doesn't seem like a mean-spirited joke at all. It's just like kind of goofing around. I enjoy those ones a bit. Anyway, okay, cool. Yep.
Please. What did he say? Oh my god, I look disfigured.
So before we wash off our faces and I wash out my hair and see the true beauty of black,
I'm terrified.
I need to thank our sponsor, Crunchyroll.com, who has supported us and we appreciate so much.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll.com.
I love that after they cut from his mother saying she looked disfigured as she like took a face mask off to him sitting with the face mask still on, they're going straight into an ad read. Before seeing the true beauty of black, that is... It's just a really uncomfortable video.
Okay, do that.
It's not just that.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
But that is one of the things it
Alright,
is.
so
Yeah.
there he is in all of his glory. We just saw his
I think Scooter thinks it's a slur. Yeah.
Yeah, he does think it's a slur. He's asked me questions before. I'm like, buddy.
Denims, what do you think? If you could think of anything to say about Scootish right now, what would it be?
Oh my god, on the spot, huh? I'm so nervous.
Just look into his eyes.
According to all laws of aviation, there's no B movie something.
Wait,
I
you saying
remember
he's a
4
bird?
words. Bird.
You think he's a bird?
No, I was reciting the B movies.
You like jazz?
I call her every Saturday. We just play
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
But I still don't have more than 2
You know,
words.
it's actually it's a slur.
Yeah, Sabra. Put it on Sabra.
Yeah, put it on Sabra.
Oh my god.
not-
We're demoting
if
him.
you do not, I will rip
Hold
it
on,
up.
no, I'm putting it personally.
Listen,
I don't want him to taint it.
Our wonderful moderators over there too. If he moves it, trash, you have permission to abuse him.
What did we
Twitch
say?
said we're allowed to do that. By the way.
I'll put him next to his best friend.
Scootish.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
All right.
The board didn't like that.
The board's possessed. Did not like-
He did.
He didn't touch
They
it.
have put
Trash.
the guy who is doing the tier list for them into Love Sabra. I don't think they hate him or that he's Jewish. I don't know. He could be Jewish, I guess. I don't think. I mean, we've passed the point where testing whether the hypothesis is reasonable feels like it makes any sense. Like it's just like you have to back up past so many pieces of like reality that you have observed that don't match the hypothesis. To like get back to a point where it could make sense to begin with, and like it just doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't make sense. All right.
Is a anime streaming platform.
Ethan and Hila are now going to do an exactly 60-second ad read for Crunchyroll, and I thought about whether I should like skip this because like I would usually just skip an ad in a YouTube video, to be honest, but I thought it was kind of interesting to see how Ethan promotes a product when he isn't being sarcastic about it.
That streams anime up to 1 hour after it airs in Japan with subtitles, 1080p, ad-free. It's a great platform. I've been having a lot of fun using it lately. Last week we recommended Hunter x Hunter, which goes down as one of my top 5 shows of all time.
Especially after finishing it, season 5.
If you guys, dude, amazing. Now, this week we watched Erased, which is a 12-part miniseries. And this is one of these shows where it's like, it's not even anime. It's just like a good-ass show with good characters, good storytelling, great animation. It's like, it's just a great show.
Yeah, I really, really liked it.
So
I like that it's not a commitment. It's a short series.
12. It's a miniseries. I actually love miniseries because it's like there's no meandering, there's no waste of time. It's just like good. It's just good shit. So go to crunchyroll.com/Ethan Neal. Get a 30-day free trial. That'll give you enough time to watch Hunter x Hunter and Erased, 2 of my favorite shows of all time, and you will not regret it, guys. So
I wonder if it's worse to be a mother and walk into a room where your son has his face covered in black stuff with a camera rolling, or be an advertiser and see the video that your product is being advertised on, and see this ad read. Anyway, I thought that like tonally that was kind of interesting to see. Like he's not having the mocking tone. He is being earnest. You can see that he's capable of doing all of that stuff. He's just choosing not to. Also, for what it's worth, saying that something isn't even anime when it's really good is kind of insulting to anime, but like in terms of the things that are insulting in this video, I don't know if we need to spend a lot of time dwelling on that one.
Trash.
Why does I think
Don't
Arab
yell at
is
trash. Don't
spell
yell at
check?
Arab right now. I'm kidding. I should have put these in an order, huh? I show speed.
Oh yeah, dude, he's so Arab
my
right
God.
now.
Yeah, he's Arab, dude.
We're gonna kind of like fast forward through this because like basically what is happening here, I'm not actually gonna fast forward, I'm just like not really going to talk much, but what you're gonna see happen here is they continue to put people on the tier list based on criteria that they're kind of making up over the course of a live comedy show. They say some shit about Florida. Florida gets to be the butt of a lot of jokes, unfortunately. Sucks for Florida. They say Kai is Arab coded because he doesn't have strong enough
If you would ask
opinions.
permission, think it's a slur, and eat sabra, and he'll still be Arab.
Yeah, I totally agree
love
with you.
it, like he's like the first video.
They're trapped in there.
What is this? What is this?
The first video I've ever.
Dude, when are we getting a Lebanon tour from Speed? That would be
Oh my
wild.
god, that would go crazy.
No, whatever it is.
I wouldn't. I would. If you're asking about it, don't do it.
Okay.
Messed her all up.
I had to consult PR.
Oh, Denims is our PR?
Dude, we're fucked.
Denims is our PR.
Moist critical.
Vio, what do you think?
I'd say he probably thinks it's a slur. But he would also ask permission.
And then do a 45-minute video on it.
Yeah.
So I said it was a slur.
As a Florida boy.
So these people
What
are
do you
saying
think
about
he
BB?
As a Florida boy?
He lives in Florida.
Oh, dude, he definitely thinks it's a slur.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Everything in Florida is a slur. You're from Florida.
It's true. Everything in Florida is a slur.
I can't even say Florida without getting in trouble.
Yeah. Don't.
Kai.
Kai Sanat. Yeah, Kai.
I would say Kai's Arab coded.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying he's Arab coded, not even full Arab. He's just Arab
We
coded.
don't have any spots
I
like
mean,
this
to
on
be
here.
honest,
You're right.
to be honest, I have the stickers. I don't know where I put my trash bag at though. So.
No, I'm okay with Arab coded. What do you guys think?
What do you think?
I feel like to be Arab, you have to have strong opinions, and I don't think of Kai as someone with strong opinions.
True.
I agree.
I don't know if you know what I mean.
I see that. I see that.
He's a little like neutral, which is a very American thing.
Yeah, that is very American. Ask permission. Ask permission.
I feel like somewhere between ask permission or Arab coded.
Definitely ask Chad if he can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you guys think? Hold on.
Yeah.
Clap if it's ask permission.
That's a pretty strong clap.
That's pretty strong.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Before you do this, I'm just gonna let you know right now. My ears are not good, so that amount of clapping and more amount of clapping, I don't think I'll be able to differentiate.
You have bad ears?
Yeah, dude.
Don't worry, I can
Yeah,
detect
runs in the
frequency.
family, dude.
Stop. Stop. I like how there's like only one person
It's
laughing.
fish,
Someone-
too.
I know, one person gets it.
For people who don't know, Ref's dad is dead.
And then Arab coded. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It was all the same.
The second one was better, dude.
All right, Arab coded it is.
All right, we have some like audience participation. I don't know what Frugan's like was thinking about saying, and then they decided that she couldn't say it. They've said some pretty. They've said some stuff on this, so for someone to say that she can't say something, like wow. But anyway, she didn't say it. Yeah, like we did more of the tier list. It continues to have nothing to do with anti-Semitism.
It, guys. So thank you, Crunchyroll. I'm gonna go wash this shit off my face now.
Okay, I can't wait to take this off.
You look like Batman. Give me a look at you. You look like you're Batman. Dude, you look sick right now, Ela. You're the Phantom of the Opera, dude. Oh, it's getting some oh, that's not schmutz. That's just straight up dead skin. Oh my god.
All right. For what it's worth, like, they don't seem to have made any attempt to use any of these products correctly. So, like, my instinct for why they're having trouble getting the face mask off is that they left it on way too long. Having done face masks before myself. I guess I don't know that for sure, but that kind of seems to be what's happening. I find it really weird that he said she looked like Batman and the Phantom of the Opera, who are two, like, white characters from fiction, given... Yeah, but anyway. I guess they are, like, both kind of associated with the dark or something. I don't know. I'll stretch a little for you, Ethan.
Aspen.
That's
Well,
like Love Sabra. Love Sabra easily.
The maggots in his brain love the Sabra, so, you know.
I mean, do you guys think Arab people are very cleanly or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I was thinking today? I was like, I wish this hotel had a bidet.
That's what I was thinking this morning.
I was like,
why is there no bidet?
I do want to say I did not do number 2 this morning, but I was just thinking, like, imagine how nice having a bidet in the hotel would be.
I don't know, like, we are talking about cleanliness again, and I did say that I was going to draw attention to cleanliness every time it came up. But this isn't, like, cleanliness, like, we are pure. This is cleanliness, like, we don't mind talking about how we have human bodies and exist in them. Because, like, it's kind of funny to be talking about cleanliness and then immediately start talking about pooping as an example of how clean you are. I don't think that fits into like purity mindset. Purity mindset is like women don't poop. Purity mindset is not like, yeah, we poop and we use bidets. So yeah, maybe this is an example of how you can talk about cleanliness in a way that like isn't quite so destructive and off-putting.
Can I be honest? That's not luxurious. You go to a hotel, there's no bidet. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I went to an Airbnb once and I brought my bidet and installed it, and then uninstalled
fire.
it before I left.
Yeah.
That's fire. That's based. That's based.
Thank you guys. Thank
Listen,
you.
we all wear rings here. Do you take off the rings or do you keep them on? I just started wearing rings again, and I don't know what do I do.
I'm sorry. When you wipe your butt, you're asking if you take the rings off.
Do you take them off or do you keep them on?
That's such an insane question. I'm like, are you like shoving your knuckles in your butthole when you're like wiping?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I am. Thank you. Sorry, I am clean. Have you seen
I'm
that?
too, but I don't need to go knuckle deep in my butt to make it clean.
I'm looking at our production team over there, and they are just ignoring us so hard. They're like, we cannot be a part of this conversation.
She doesn't get it, dude. When you're like hairy, it's everywhere, dude. It's like
Whenever I told them my trick of how you go number 2, like they like looked at me like I was a.
What's your trick?
You have to spread the cheeks.
Yeah, that's weird.
With your hands?
Yeah, like you get a little spread, and then you said it's like dragging pudding through a forest or something. Gross.
No, but the way you described spreading the cheeks was like manual labor, dude. You were just like, you gotta like spread it, and like I'm.
Thank you, Twitch, so much for giving us a platform. Thank you.
I'm sure people have said worse.
Dude, I feel like you guys are playing like ranked shitting, and I'm playing casual. What the?
Dude, we're doing just deadlock before our bathroom.
My power up is spreading the cheeks. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you know, this is why podcasts are edited and uploaded to YouTube because I don't like being in the live setting.
Yes. Rap explicitly said, but I can't say bad stuff? I was like,
I did. I've been wanting to say 7 slurs since I've been here, and I can't. I'm gritting my teeth right now.
I'm crying.
Do you want to get to our guests?
This is the next one.
Okay.
All right, so they put Asmongold in Love Sabra because Asmongold is kind of like infamous in the content creation scene for being messy, messy and like dirty. Like his room, like there are photos of his room with like plates strewn everywhere and stuff. So yeah, that's what they did, and then they talked about bidet use for a while. Again, these do not seem like hateful anti-Semites to me.
It's terrible.
Do not use this product.
Yeah.
Oh! Oh!
Oh my god.
Oh! I feel like this is a shot from like a Hellraiser film when they're like peeling off your skin in hell.
This
You're like,
is scary.
oh!
This is like so gross. Gross.
It's not even fun anymore. It's just suffering.
Yeah.
Look at your mouth.
The comedy's gone. This is just real suffering.
Are you okay?
Alright, so I found the comedy is gone. This is just real suffering to be a very funny line because it implies that there was comedy before. We are powering through the last people going on the tier list now real quick.
Yeah, do that one. Connor eats pants. Whoa, yeah.
I'm gonna put Connor in Arab coded just because I just feel like
I agree.
he's basic.
Arab coded 100%.
Totally agree.
That's not bad.
Queso.
Connor do be going on PSYOP missions though, and it's kind of insane. So yeah,
Yeah.
Arab coded's good.
We're gonna speed through the last few so we have time for a couple of Q&As.
Connor, also a white guy.
Hello, we're recording.
You guys didn't know
podcast.
podcast?
I
We're
didn't-
having a moment, dude. I can have moments with my guests. Thank you very much.
I want to have a moment.
I just
can't.
didn't know this guy. So
Queso.
Queso.
I don't know him.
Queso. Yay.
I'm gonna say Arab coded because he yells. That's it. That's it. That's all I needed to see.
We definitely wouldn't ask permission to say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you say his name?
I think
Queso, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, dressed to impress superstar. All right, next one.
Ray.
Valkyrie.
Arab coded.
Nah, dude. Valk would.
Ask permission.
Honestly,
Ask permission.
Valk thinks it's a slur. She's so nice. I don't think she would ask permission. I think she would hear somebody say and be like, is that? Am I allowed? Is that okay?
That's true.
Yeah. I think Valk thinks it's a slur. Yeah, definitely.
Who are the other 2 people we have in there?
Oh, thinks it's a slur.
Miskiff and Miss Critical.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we put another like content creators on thing. Cool.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
You want to wash your mouth or
I'm
something?
trying to keep my eye closed, but it's like
Yeah.
pulling at my eyelid.
Wow, your hair is really black.
Ethan, you're gonna look like you died. Wait, why did you dye your hair black?
It's the black
That's the episode. Oh my god, it's so
What did she say he was gonna look like?
Your hair is really black.
Ethan, you're gonna look like you died. Wait,
I can't hear what she says.
It's the black
That's the episode. Oh my god, it's so black.
Well, we left it in for like an hour. It said 10 minutes. I want to see
Your
it.
hair.
All right. Why is it black? It's the black episode. Yeah. Cool. In their continued failure to actually review beauty products successfully, they have left the hair dye in for like 6 times too long. Ethan looks great. Maybe I should dye my hair. I don't know.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Strange thing to take away from this video, but it's where my brain went. I don't know. I actually really like my gray hair. And for what it's worth, I have not found them to look gross at any point in the entire thing. They just look like they're using beauty products in weird ways. The thing they're doing is a little gross. Maybe a lot gross.
This is not cool.
Jinxie.
Jinxie.
This is actually a kind of big moment in the panel, so focus in.
I would say I feel like Jinxie's like kind of Arab coded, but kind
Why?
of permission. I don't know.
I think
he
he'd
thinks
ask
it's a
permission.
slur or ask for permission.
Ask
yeah.
permission. I feel like
I don't mean it in a bad way, but I feel like he just likes Sabra.
you have.
Like I feel like he goes to the store. He's like, oh,
See, that's
favorite.
base.
We need to put it in Love Sabra.
Yeah.
I know the other people are in there derogatory, but he's in there just like neutral.
Yeah, Jinxie loves Sabra, not
Yeah,
derogatory.
Sorry, sorry, Mike.
He's like, no, I really fuck with Sabra. I'm not
You
gonna
love-
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we put you on the Sabra category. Sabra's not hummus.
You hate Arabic food, and that's why you love Sabra.
Yeah, true.
You
You know what's crazy? We had to speak to this, but we Capri and Raph did like a ranking of hummus with Food Beast, and we could tell right away what vile hummus sample was Sabra.
It was
And we
so
nailed
bad,
it.
dude. It was one of those things like we were not playing up for the camera. I was actually like, wow. When you taste them back to back, you're like,
It's
okay.
crazy.
It has like a bitter aftertaste.
That's
All right. So some people heard Denims say that Jinxie was in the Love Sabra category, just neutral, while the other people were there in parenthesis derogatory, and interpreted that as like the other people are like bad Jews, which is weird because the other people are mostly not Jewish, but that's how I have seen people read it. And I mean, that is what you can take out of this if the lens you look at the panel through is these are bad anti-Semites. I want to explain what derogatory means as a meme. This is a somewhat embarrassing moment for me as a content creator, but it falls upon me to educate you about the youth. First though, is Love Sabra derogatory offensive? I want to say that it doesn't feel like a very sensible read given the panel so far. Generally speaking, talking about things in a derogatory way hasn't been offensive or bad during this panel. They're like saying this person's Arab coded because they aren't Arab coded because they don't use enough slurs, or they are Arab coded because they are impolite, or so on and so forth. So like saying people are bad things isn't like meant offensively in this panel. It's like joking. That is the context in which we're using the word derogatory. Okay. They also talked about how their dads are homophobic and yell unintelligently, stuff like that. Now, if you're looking at it through the lens of these are hateful anti-Semites, you're going to think, surely this is a dog whistle about Jews, though. Like, the Jews are there derogatory, whereas other people are not. But if you've actually watched the panel, like we just have, for the last, like, 3 hours, jumping around and looking at Ethan's stuff as well for comparison or whatever, I'm starting to lose faith in the value of Ethan's video being in this at all, but I mean, I think it serves to make a pretty stark point about how different people's content gets perceived. Anyway, I just think it's really jarring for someone to suggest that that statement has anything at all to do with Jewishness. Like, Jewishness has not been a subject of this panel. It's been a panel about what it means to be Arab. Just like Jewishness has not come up very much at all, with the main time that it did come up be because one of the creators is Jewish. So yeah. I just don't really see it. There's a simpler explanation here, and this is where I have to explain to you what derogatory means. They're saying that Jinxie likes bad hummus just because he non-judgmentally likes lots of things, whereas other people like bad hummus due to having bad taste. That's what the derogatory version of liking a bad food is. It's like, you like that bad food because your taste in food is bad. It isn't you like that bad food because you are a bad person. Derogatory is a humorous meme format, and when you see people say things like gamer then parenthesis derogatory, which can sometimes be in opposition, for example, to gamer in parenthesis aspirational, or I guess here it would be like gamer in parenthesis neutral, because they said Jinxie was in the category neutral. This is a current meme format on the internet, which simply means the derogatory versus aspirational form of a thing. So a gamer derogatory maybe doesn't shower and spends all weekend tilting about losing at League of Legends, while a gamer aspirational wins a Microsoft Excel speedrun tournament. That's like what people mean when they say like gamer derogatory, or love Sabra derogatory. Love Sabra derogatory means the bad version of loving Sabra. Like, gamer derogatory is like the bad version of being a gamer. The bad version of loving Sabra isn't being Jewish. Like, the bad version of loving Sabra is having a bad taste in hummus. And the creators have been very consistently saying that throughout the panel, and have said that also in prior work. As a white person, if I said, like, loves Hawaiian pizza derogatory, the idea that that could possibly mean that I thought Hawaiian people were bad wouldn't even enter my mind. And I, like, can't really imagine, like, a hate mob forming on the internet to, like, say that I was racist against Hawaiians for saying something like that. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And, like, I don't think that this should make any sense whatsoever to you. I think one of the reasons that the creators on this panel, in joking about being Arab, are talking about, like, terrorists exploding and talking about how if one of them pulls the fire alarm, they're all done for, and talking about basically, like, being perceived as a threat as they go through their lives, is that they are. Like, people perceive the things they do as though they might be threatening. And this is a case where them just talking about a food that is culturally, like, their food. Like, hummus is from the Middle East, where lots of Arab people live, but they're just talking about their food. Like, it's honestly not even like me talking about Hawaiian pizza, because, like, I'm not from Hawaii or Italy. Like, we have appropriated pizza here in America and taken the Italian cuisine and made it our own. Maybe appropriated isn't the right word there. I don't know. But like that's not even what's going on here, because hummus is a food that like their mothers make for them at home. Like they're talking about the food that they eat and being critical of people who like a version of it that they perceive to be bad. And this has caused a hate mob led by a guy who likes to call entire groups of people racist based on no evidence, despite thinking it's completely fine for him to do a black episode on his YouTube channel, where he mocks the concept of things being black for 10 minutes. This has led to a hate mob, like, summoning, like, moderation from Twitch and getting them all suspended from the platform for 30 days. That's not going to contribute to them stopping making jokes about how people perceive them as threatening. It's really unfair. It's, like, it's not something that feels like it could happen to me as a white person. And, like, when people talk about white privilege, like, this is the sort of thing they mean. As a white person, I get to go through life not even imagining that talking about food that I grew up eating, and saying that somebody who liked a version of it that I didn't think was good, could possibly result in someone calling me racist. I just don't think that's possible. I made a video about this earlier, which was like shorter and less in depth, and a lot of people were like, imagine if a white person like talked about people who liked watermelon as being bad, which was interesting to me that everyone was assuming that the white people would be racist against were black people. Watermelon is, watermelon is like associated with black culture in the United States. I think people also said fried chicken. It was interesting to me that all the examples they came up with were about white people being racist toward black people, because couldn't they have talked about white people not liking hummus and being racist toward Arab people or something? Like, but I guess the idea of white people being racist toward black people is deeply ingrained in some people's heads as a sensible example to go to. We've just been watching a video about a guy being incredibly racially insensitive to black people, and his career didn't end. I'm not seeing, like, the hate mobs getting him canceled from platforms and stuff. Like, white privilege is just a very real thing where my actions receive a neutral or even positive interpretation from, like, most of the people I am exposed to in my life. And the content creators we are watching on this panel don't have the same privilege. Their actions will sometimes receive very negative interpretations from people who don't know them. That's called prejudice. There are people who are prejudiced against them and choose to interpret their actions very negatively. Despite, like, not properly researching, people will choose to be cruel to these people without bothering to check whether it's justified. I shouldn't have to tell you that this is real, because you should have seen this in the, like, structure of our society. You should have been, well, okay, maybe you're not American, but as an American, I have been to buildings which still have segregated sections for the people who are non-white to watch a show from, and different entrances where the people who are non-white can go in to, like, see the show. Like, I have paid for cheap seats to see a concert and had to go in a side staircase that doesn't connect to the main lobby because the place I'm watching the music was built in the early 20th century, like 100 years ago, not like 300 years ago, like 100 years ago. And racism is still baked into our architecture in this country. Like, it is still a physical thing where when you go through life, you see the institutions and structures that were created by racism are still there and haven't been replaced yet. And racism is also like still an active, like we're still making things using racism. Racism is very real. I shouldn't have to tell you that racism is real. I shouldn't have to tell you that people of color are treated racistly in America. That should just be obvious to you. But I think that's something that people have a much harder time recognizing and understanding is that sometimes they are doing that. Sometimes you are reinforcing the racism. Sometimes you're the one who's prejudiced. Sometimes just by using the things that are already built, you are reinforcing a structure that hurts people of color, or other disadvantaged groups. And that feels very close to home in watching this video, which is where I work. Viewers of these content creators may also view my channel, so some of the people saying this stuff may be in my audience. And this is all being presented as the correct reading of what's going on. That these creators are hateful and anti-Semitic, and that the panel is about Jews being bad. And that is hard for me to interface with. I want to read you a chapter from On Tyranny. This is a short book. It's 72 pages. You can find the PDF for free online. It's by Timothy Snyder. It's called On Tyranny. And this is basically it's 20 things to do, to practice, to withstand authoritarianism is the context of the book. I have reread it recently for reasons. Chapter 18 is Be Calm When the Unthinkable Arrives. Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. The Reichstag fire was the moment when Hitler's government, which came to power mainly through democratic means, became the menacingly permanent Nazi regime. It is the archetype of terror management. On February 27, 1933, at about 9 p.m., the building housing the German parliament, the Reichstag, began to burn. Who set the fire that night in Berlin? We don't know, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is that this spectacular act of terror initiated the politics of emergency. Gazing with pleasure at the flames that night, Hitler said, "The fire is just the beginning." Whether or not the Nazis set the fire, Hitler saw the political opportunity. There will be no mercy now. Anyone standing in our way will be cut down. The next day, a decree suspended the basic rights of all German citizens, allowing them to be preventatively detained by the police. On the strength of Hitler's claim that the fire was the work of Germany's enemies, the Nazi Party won a decisive victory in parliamentary elections on March 5th. The police and the Nazi paramilitaries began to round up members of left-wing political parties and place them in improvised concentration camps. On March 23rd, the new parliament passed an Enabling Act, which allowed Hitler to rule by decree. Germany then remained in a state of emergency for the next 12 years, until the end of the Second World War. Hitler had used an act of terror, an event of limited inherent significance, to institute a regime of terror that killed millions of people and changed the world. The authoritarians of today are also terror managers, and if anything, they are rather more creative. Consider the current Russian regime, so admired by the president. Vladimir Putin not only came to power in an incident that strikingly resembled the Reichstag fire, he then used a series of terror attacks, real, questionable, and fake, to remove obstacles to total power in Russia and to assault democratic neighbors. When Putin was appointed prime minister by a failing Boris Yeltsin in August 1999, he was an unknown with a nugatory approval rating. The following month, a series of buildings were bombed in Russian cities, apparently by the Russian secret state police. Its officers were arrested by their own colleagues with evidence of their guilt. In another case, the Speaker of the Russian Parliament announced an explosion a few days before it took place. Nonetheless, Putin declared a war of revenge against Russia's Muslim population in Chechnya, promising to pursue the supposed perpetrators and rub them out in the shithouse. The Russian The Russian nation rallied. Putin's approval ratings skyrocketed. The following March, he won presidential elections. In 2002, after Russian security forces killed scores of Russian civilians while suppressing a real terrorist attack at a Moscow theater, Putin exploited the occasion to seize control of private television. After a school in Beslan was besieged by terrorists in 2004 in strange circumstances that suggested a provocation, Putin did away with the position of elected regional governors. Thus, Putin's rise to power and his elimination of two major institutions, private television and elected regional governorships, were enabled by the management of real, fake, and questionable terrorism. After Putin returned to the presidency in 2012, Russia introduced terror management into its foreign policy. In its invasion of Ukraine in 2014, Russia transformed units of its own regular army into a terrorist force, removing insignia from uniforms and denying all responsibility for the dreadful suffering they inflicted. In the campaign for the Donbas region of southeastern Ukraine, Russia deployed Chechen irregulars and sent units of its regular army based in Muslim regions to join the invasion. Russia also tried, but failed, to hack the 2014 Ukrainian presidential election. In April 2015, Russian hackers took over the transmission of a French television station, pretended to be ISIS, and then broadcast material designed to terrorize France. Russia impersonated a cyber caliphate so that the French would fear terror more than they already did. The aim was presumably to drive voters to the far-right National Front, a party financially supported by Russia. After 130 people were killed and 368 injured in the terrorist attack on Paris of November 2015, the founder of a think tank close to the Kremlin rejoiced that terrorism would drive Europe toward fascism and Russia. Both fake and real Islamic terrorism in Western Europe, in other words, were thought to be in the Russian interest. In early 2016, Russia manufactured a moment of fake terror in Germany. While bombing Syrian civilians and thus driving Muslim refugees to Europe, Russia exploited a family drama to instruct Germans that Muslims were rapists of children. The aim, again, seems to have been to destabilize a democratic system and promote the parties of the extreme right. The previous September, the German government had announced that it would take 500,000 refugees from the war in Syria. Russia then began a bombing campaign in Syria that targeted civilians. Having provided the refugees, Russia then supplied the narrative. In January 2016, the Russian mass media spread a story that a girl of Russian origin in Germany who had momentarily gone missing had been serially raped by Muslim immigrants. With suspicious alacrity, right-wing organizations in Germany organized protests against the government. When the local police informed the population that no such rape had taken place, Russian media accused them of a cover-up. Even Russian diplomats joined the spectacle. When the American president and his national security advisor speak of fighting terrorism alongside Russia, what they are proposing to the American people is terror management, the exploitation of real, dubious, and simulated terror attacks to bring down democracy. The Russian recap of the first telephone call between the president and Vladimir Putin is telling. The two men shared the opinion that it is necessary to join forces against the common enemy number one, international terrorism and extremism. For tyrants, the lesson of the Reichstag fire is that one moment of shock enables an eternity of submission. For us, the lesson is that our natural fear and grief must not enable the destruction of our institutions. Courage does not mean not fearing or not grieving. It does mean recognizing and resisting terror management right away from the moment of the attack precisely when it seems most difficult to do so. James Madison nicely made the point that tyranny arises on some favorable emergency. After the Reichstag fire, Hannah Arendt wrote that I was no longer of the opinion that one can simply be a bystander. So there are 20 chapters like that. They're short and brief. They have an example of why something is important and instruction about what you can do to resist tyranny. And it was really hard to read that chapter while thinking about this panel and not feel like if our reaction is to form a hate mob and get these people banned, we're fucked. That can't be our reaction to something like this. The reason that the chapter is be calm. Be calm when the unthinkable arrives. It's not that being calm is like important. It's not that there's something good about being calm. It's that like accepting that something unthinkable, that something extreme that someone is telling you has happened has actually happened, and getting aggravated and choosing to like lose our institutions and lose fairness and lose due process and point at people and say that they hate and hate them ourselves. Doing that like loses our ability to live in a civil society together where we have rights, where we have freedom of expression, where we have agency, where we can have aspirations and dreams and individuality. That gets lost if we let people terrorize us into giving it away. And we know that there are people who want to take it away from us. So I just really strongly believe that this isn't an okay response to have to a panel like this.
I want to see.
Your hair is so black.
That is a natural hair color.
What do you think?
I love these guys who walk around like, this is my natural hair color, guys. This is just who I am. And my scalp is black. My scalp is black. What?
I'm just like really uncomfortable with the part where he really likes his hair and talks about how it's a natural hair color and stuff. While he has a natural skin color on his face, which he's saying is gross.
The fuck? Well, guys, take a look and judge for yourself. Did these beauty products work? You decide. The Black episode brought to you by Ethan Neal. More black and vibrant and beautiful than ever.
Wow.
More black and vibrant and beautiful than ever. All right. Toward the end of the panel, they put their guests on the tier
It's
list.
tang. It's got that tang.
Oh, that's
Sketch.
that's
I
yeah,
forgot
that's
his
fine.
name. You printed it out.
I know.
God damn.
Honestly, from what Sketch has done in his personal life, definitely Arab coded, man.
Dude.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely, dude. He's definitely Lebanese coded for sure, dude.
I want to say something so bad, but I don't know what
Say
it is.
No, go ahead. We'll bleep it out.
It's not gay.
No. Keep it. Keep it in Drafster. We're keeping
And
that.
our final two are our guests.
Oh, we got Denims and Vio.
He
Okay.
can't be Arab though, unfortunately.
Oh, can't?
I mean, there's no.
Guess where they get put. Like, pause the video and think up for yourself where these people get put.
More room.
We can maybe sneak you in above. Thank you. Oh wow, we got a cool timer. Okay,
That
cool.
is
Thank
pretty
you.
sick, actually.
All right. Honestly, that's awesome.
You can't move. It's final. You know it's Swedish. Now that you moved it.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Vio,
Period.
Vio, do you think Denims would think it's a slur even though she's Arab?
Well,
Let's be honest.
honestly, no. Honestly, I feel like no, not really.
Let's go.
Okay.
I think if Costco had a size of Sabra, I think Vio would love it.
Ew.
Ew.
I hate.
You love Costco.
Like how we
though.
bring them on
I
to
love
disrespect them,
Costco.
dude.
It's true.
The
Kirkland's actually pretty good. Their hummus is pretty
I got
solid.
the mini ones recently. I don't frick with them.
I already said the curse word, but you were like, well, let me just fix it.
I don't freak with them at all, dude.
This is the worst. It's such a disaster. What a nightmare this is.
You guys wanna put them in Arab?
I think we should put them next to.
Oh, God.
I think we should balance them.
I just don't think I should put Vio up in the Arab.
this is
Arab
me?
coded, yeah. You.
Oh,
What do we
I
both?
would
Kind of at the
honestly
same
believe
time.
Thinks it's a slur because I've been so whitewashed for like most of my life.
Okay,
Not
down.
legit.
Is liking caviar an Arab thing, or is that?
Well, you think
person.
they're eating eggs?
Caviar?
Yeah.
Why would
So Vio, at her own behest, gets put in thinks it's a slur.
caviar be an Arab thing?
I'm just asking because
Why
it's
would
fancy.
you ask? You are Arab. Why
Yeah.
would you ask? You're like, hey man.
Because I like caviar, but I'm also
He's like, hey man, is wiping front to back an Arab thing, or is it just?
Denims.
no bidets are an
Where
Arab
do we
thing.
put
Let's be
denims?
honest.
We're on a time crunch. Denims. Where do we put denims?
Denims is. I want to put her in Arab, but I can't. So put her in the Sabra section. That'd
Yeah,
be good.
put her
That's
in
fine.
Sabra. Why not?
We'll do opposites here.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, now
And we put Denims in Love Sabra.
he's cheering.
Don't
Look
clap
how
for that.
beautiful our board is.
We forgot to add Sean the Black, whose idea we frankly took for this segment, and we didn't put him on the list like an idiot. But if you could put his little drafter, put his little Twitter thing right here with a little bubble pop sound like, and then essentially show the little list here. And Sean, you are A for Arab because you are just as hated as us on the internet, so you are full-blown Arab. Bye.
All right. So this is.
They put Sean the Black in, who was the person they got the idea for the tier list from, in theory, on the Arab part, because he gets hated on the internet, like they do. Very self-aware. Okay, I want to check what he actually, like what his tier list was real quick. All right, cool. So this is the tier list that they were, like, inspired by. And we have Black at the top, but I feel like this This tier list has a title, so it is more clear that it doesn't mean good through bad. I think that putting a title on the tier list would have helped. Some of the lesson of this video is definitely like display information clearly. But anyway, yeah. They have Ethan in hard R, by the way, which, like, gee, I wonder why.
Well, guys, take a look and judge for yourself. Did these beauty products work? You decide. The Black episode brought to you by Ethan Neal. More black and vibrant and beautiful than ever.
All right, yeah. Goodbye, Ethan. I will never have to look at that video again, hopefully. And then they take some Q&A from the audience.
Blown Arab. Bye. All right.
We
So this
will
is
watch
our
this
official board.
in the
Everybody
spirit
take a
of
picture.
completeness.
Save the link. All that jazz. Yeah, upload it, post it.
Clap if you agree.
But don't tag people. Don't tag certain people. I don't.
And there it goes, and it's gone.
Well, you had your time.
Well,
Guys, as we wrap up this show, since we only have a few minutes left, Denims, do you have anything you want to say to people who are enjoying TwitchCon Saturday and Sunday, the last 2 days? Is there anything you want them to go see?
I almost said something I shouldn't say.
Oh, do you want to whisper in my ear?
Say it.
Cut it out.
Oh man.
No, it's all good. We have all the time in the world.
We have all the time? Oh, okay, let me think about
it. Vio, is there anything you want to plug or say? What are your final thoughts?
Make sure to check out the Arabs podcast because it's honestly one of the fucking freaking best. Yeah, no, definitely check it out. I watch it all fucking every week. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
She's just an egg.
Filler word.
Thank you so much. You can also check out VO at VO.tv, right?
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/VO. So sorry. Twitch.VO. Twitch.VO.
Oh yeah, if you want to check me out, twitch.tv/VO, but I'm kind of trapped in my own personal hell right now, just a fair warning.
Are you still doing the starting soon-a-thon?
That's been 40 days.
I think we'll start soon.
We're going to start soon. We're starting the stream soon.
I can't wait to Denims. Any final words?
Yeah, you guys should, can we get a round of applause for the hosts, please?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys did all of this work, put this together. Thank you to Capri. Well, yeah, it felt a while ago. Thank you to Capri. Thank you to Frogan. I guess thank you to Raph.
Also, thanks Scootish again.
Yeah,
thank you, Scootish. Big thank you to Giraffester, who's also in the back right there, who edits everything for us. Thank you. The Veil and Navity, who do our thumbnails. Thank you so much as well. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah, okay. We don't know them. You don't have to clap for them. It's fine. We're not important.
Should we take like a couple questions or?
Do we have like?
I don't think we have the time.
One question.
One question.
One question.
Oh, 1 minute left. Okay.
Hurry, speed run it.
I think there's one person here.
One question. You have a question? Just shout it because the mic's over here.
Have you considered getting like a water bottle and then attaching like a hose as a bidet?
They have that on Amazon.
Oh my god.
They asked, have you ever thought about getting a water bottle and attaching a hose to the water bottle to use as a bidet?
Can we?
And no, because we're not insane. What am I supposed to do? Suction it up? That's insane. She's over here butt chugging. That's crazy. What a crazy thing to say.
They have it on Amazon. It's like my mom bought me one. It's like a little thing, and it has like a little. It's like a elongated, and it has like a. It looks like a flower.
That wasn't
hose,
a bidet, dude.
But
Twitch.tv/Denims if you want to watch.
Yeah.
Don't put my name after that. That's dumb.
So rude to be interrupted while I'm talking about my beautiful Amazon bidet that's like $9.99 for a 2-pack.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions? Don't be afraid.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Says the most insane thing.
We'll
Don't
answer
be
any.
afraid.
We literally had somebody say they yeah, what?
Which one of you is most likely to enjoy Sabra on accident?
Capri.
What?
Capri.
They said which one is the most attractive and great.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They asked which one is the most to enjoy Sabra if they didn't know
They
it was
asked
Sabra.
who's the oldest person on the podcast.
No, that's how they asked.
Yeah.
Any other? Who wants to be the final question?
Great. Thank you guys so much for coming to our show. Thank you to Trash as well. Thank you so much. And thank you to the production over there. Thank you to Twitch staff. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming.
All right. That's that. I am not trying to tell you that all of those people are good people. I don't know them. And I have learned over 8 years as a content creator that you cannot assume that content creators are good people. But like this was just them like talking about being Arab and making jokes about hummus and the word Habibi and other content creators they know. Is this terrible content? Like, maybe you don't enjoy it. Maybe it's unenjoyable content to you. That's, like, fine. We live in a country with freedom of speech. I hope we continue to. Twitch is not a platform full of perfect, polished content made by professionals. It's a place where, like, amateur entertainers can try out being entertainers and do different things, and this was a live show, and like this just isn't a horrible thing that should justify saying cruel stuff about other human beings, in my opinion. We should talk about the thumbnail briefly, because people have taken issue with the thumbnail I have seen. It's funny. So this is Hassan, who they're putting in S tier. He was the first person in the tier list that they did. And then we have the 3 panelists. You can see that Capri made himself look worse, and Raph made himself look better. That's like what they were talking about before. And we have Ethan. This is just Ethan's like Twitter profile picture. Like Ethan has chosen that picture. They're not trying to make him look worse than he chose to look on social media. And they have Ben Shapiro. And some people have been like, well, clearly because they put Ben Shapiro onto this tier list, they mean that the bottom tier is for Jewish people. But like, well, there are 2 problems with this. One is this is kind of like saying that it's impossible to judge a book by anything except its cover. Like, you know how we say don't judge a book by its cover? This is like judging what a YouTube video is by its thumbnail is like just that, but so much worse. Thumbnails on YouTube are not set up to accurately convey what a video is to you. They are rewarding of thumbnails which look like controversial and flashy and will make you more likely to click on the video. So the job of the thumbnail is not to be boring and politically correct. So that's the first thing. Like, the thumbnail could be edgy, and that wouldn't change what the panel is. Like, we just watched the panel together. Like, yeah, there were some edgy jokes in there, sure, but like, there was not a whole lot of discussion about Jewishness, so putting a Jewish person on the thumbnail doesn't suddenly make the panel about Jewishness. The other thing is, like, there's a more straightforward stated reason. Like, the thumbnail says that it's putting like people there based on how Arab they are, and Ben Shapiro isn't Arab. Like, he just isn't an Arab. He's also a flashy face, which will get people to click. And like, in terms of a demonstration of someone who isn't an Arab, I tried Googling Ben Shapiro Arab to just kind of get a sense of what's out there. And this is the first hit. This is him tweeting, Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. Hashtag settlements rock. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem ridiculous to think of Ben Shapiro as a person who is not an Arab, given that if you Google Ben Shapiro Arab, this is the first thing that comes up. That doesn't seem like is very like aligned with being culturally Arab. Also, though, again, worth noting that like thumbnails try to be controversial and put controversial images on them to make you click on the video. All right. Oh my God. Get him off my screen. Overall recommendations. We talked about that chapter from On Tyranny. I would recommend reading the entire book. I think it has good stuff. Don't say people are racist unless you've checked that there aren't other less derogatory, more likely explanations for their behavior. A lot of authoritarianism is creating an enemy who we have to fight, and in order to fight them, we will give up our freedoms. And the enemy from within is the most dangerous, and you can see like immigrants being used for that in the US currently today in political rhetoric. And it's really important that you don't just leap to demonizing like people of color based on next to nothing, if you would like to resist authoritarian political rhetoric. Keep in mind that applying different criteria to whether you call an Arab person racist from what we'd use to call a white person racist is itself prejudicial. If you think that being racist is bad, you should probably try to like judge a person who is Arab and a person who is white similarly. And also like work to ensure that we live in a world where people who are Arab and people who are white are treated similarly, because our world doesn't currently treat them similarly. And like I said, that's not a matter of just like how everybody feels. It's also a matter of like literally how we have built our world. The vestiges of racism are all over the stuff we have built, which is permanent and is only replaced very slowly. So we need to keep on improving the world that we live in if we want to get to a point where people are like equally empowered and able to contribute in our society and live their lives and make great art for us, and etc., etc., etc. Watching clips out of context leads to you thinking things are sensible, which you would never think were sensible if you watched the entire video the clips were from. Just like any time that you are going to form an extreme opinion, try to research it first. If you're going to get emotional, your first second can be emotion for sure, because like you are allowed to be a human and have a body and have your body get outraged and excited and anxious and angry and loud and sad. Like you are allowed to be a human with emotions 100,000,000%, but you are also a human with agency. And when you see something that outrages you, instead of just becoming extreme straight away, you can use your agency to research it and find out about it and make sure that that extreme position is justified. And that's a really important thing to do. And don't research it by like Googling like Arab's podcast racist and reading the Reddit thread, because you're just going to find the people telling you the thing you want to hear. Like Google the counter position, see if the counter position is reasonable. Google for like neutral positions, think about other explanations that there could be, research them and see if they make any sense to you, and test the explanation you've been given and see if it continues to make sense if you continue interacting with the thing being talked about. If somebody tells you that, like, I don't know, Haitians are eating dogs, investigate in any way to see if that makes any sense, instead of just deciding that Haitians are stealing people's pets and eating them. Yeah. And I want to highly recommend that we don't look to Ethan Klein as an authority on racial sensitivity. I do not know stuff about Ethan's personal life. Being a content creator is very hard. Not everybody's brain works the same way as everybody else's brain. But like, he doesn't have the appropriate resume to be an authority on racial sensitivity. And I think if he's who you're looking to for that, you're not going to get great results. Further general recommendations: seek and hold allegiance to truth, be kind to others, and make yourself known when you disagree with cruelty. These are takeaways that I had from reading on Tyranny that felt especially important to me in my life. And this video is me trying to live by them. So, thanks for tuning in. I care about you quite a lot. Content creation, you have lots of parasocial relationships, right? Where like, I don't know you. Like you might see a lot of me, but you don't really know me either. But I do this job because I care about the people who watch my stuff. I want to respect you. So I want to make sure that if you're watching my stuff, you know that this is an opinion I have, so that if you find this opinion and this interpretation that I've given you in this video to be distasteful or off-putting or whatever, you can go away. Because I'd like my audience to be people who I like respect, and I don't respect somebody who thinks that these content creators should be kicked off the platform. I don't respect somebody who sees Ethan saying that people are anti-Semites and chooses to believe him and start like harassing those creators on social media and trying to go for mob justice against them. I don't respect that behavior. So if you want to continue to be in my audience, please think about that behavior and try not to do it. And if you're going to keep doing it, like, I don't really want you here, because my community has to be a place where people can be safe and respect each other and have empathy for each other and do things collaboratively together, which make the world better. And if that is your mindset, you cannot contribute to my community in a way that allows it to keep doing that. So being kind to others doesn't have to be being nice to others. And I think it can feel hard to stand up and say that something's wrong. I think that especially in the world of exactly today, it can be hard to think, like, are people going to see me saying that I disagree with something cruel and demonize me and attack me for it and stuff like that? And I think that especially people with privilege like myself, you have to make them do it. You can't do it for them by being silent. You have to stand up and say when you see something is wrong. And I believe that very strongly. And that's not just about like content creation or racism or authoritarianism. It's like little things in life. Like if you see something that seems off at a party, going and making sure that people are okay. Or if you see someone badgering their mother, being like, hey, dude, she's a human, like chill out, and speaking up about that. I think this is one of the most important things that we can be as humans, is witnesses of what's going on around us, and like people with our eyes open. Because if someone realizes that someone can see them doing something, a lot of the time that's all that has to happen to stop them from being cruel and to make them think twice about how they're acting. And that is what I had to say to you. Thanks for hanging out with me for 4 hours, if you made it all the way through this. I am sure lots of people have disagreements with things that I said. Consider before disagreeing in the comments whether it is more productive to disagree with the exact tone I said a sentence or the exact point that I made about something tangential, or whether it would be more productive to be constructive and agree with something I said and add your voice to something and add your experience to, like, you know, you can boost something that you think is real instead of trying to tear down something that you think is slightly incorrect. And I think the former leads to more construction than the latter. And yeah, I will see you again shortly, I'm sure. I have a few different YouTube exclusive things planned in terms of content. And then I'm also streaming. Been playing a lot of Brotato recently, so feel free to come hang out in the channel and just chill, because that's kind of the mode of the hour when I'm streaming at the moment. Goodbye, y'all.